This week's episode is sponsored by Together, the film critics have called the best horror movie of the year. With a perfect 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, Together stars Dave Franco and Alison Brie in an unforgettable, epic horror that Bloody Disgusting calls a wild crowd pleaser that will leave you laughing and screaming in equal measure. Don't miss Together, the breakout horror movie event of the year, exclusively in theaters July 30th.
There's a time and a place for filet of fish. But breakfast is for sausage biscuits. McDonald's breakfast comes first. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
You have to control yourself!
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking, I walk in my sleep, I must wake up. We're talking, just do it, Morris, I don't want to end up murdered. And we're talking 12 movies for the price of one, and I'm not mad about it. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking, I'm a foreigner, and I'm lost!
Are you a foreigner, Dean?
Everyone, we are discussing Dario Argento's Phenomena, his 9th directorial effort, and I gotta say, this movie's bonkers, and I kind of loved it.
Yes, that last piece of my intro is not a quote. That is my quote from me, because we were just talking about this offline. I feel like I knew a couple of things about this movie, but whenever people talk about this film, they don't say that it is batshit fun, and honestly, I feel misinformed. Like, I would have watched this way earlier if I hadn't known what kind of movie it was.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about kind of my, not particularly aversion, but like, I don't really gravitate towards Italian horror films. And honestly, if I saw more films like this, I'd be eating them all up, because I don't even think I knew this was necessarily a giallo film. I really just knew it was Jennifer Connelly talks telepathically to bugs. I didn't even know Donald Pleasence was in this movie.
I knew he was in it because I knew that he had a relationship with a chimp. And I would say, just because I don't want anyone to start angrily composing some kind of skeet, I don't think that this is considered a conventional giallo film. It definitely has aspects of it, particularly in this serial killer of teen girls, but there's too many other things going on in here.
I'm glad that you said that, because when I tweeted, or I'm sorry, skeeted, whatever the fuck on Blue Sky
I hate it. I don't even know why I said it. I hated myself immediately.
But I posted on social media that I was watching this, and they referred to it as a giallo, but then they were like, oh, well, I know some people quibble with it, and then someone replied and was like, no, it's totally a giallo film. And so whatever, man, we're going to call it a giallo. It is Argento's twist on the giallo film, a genre that he kind of helped make famous with Bava.
Yeah, exactly that.
But, okay, I'm not going to lie, Joe. I have a lot to say about this movie.
I was going to say, you've got a lot to go into, don't you?
Well, honestly, I was like, your plot, this is a 2-hour movie, depending on which cut you're watching. And so much happens.
Indeed it does, yes. And folks, we're watching the 2-hour cut. Trace mentioned this in our outro last week, but just in case, like, if you were watching something and it was shorter than about an hour 40, you have not gotten the whole film.
Well, there's an easy way to figure it out. If the title card on your cut was Creepers, you're watching the wrong cut.
Yes, yeah.
But, okay, so yes, this is, again, Argento's 9th film, following 1982's Tenebrae, so go back and listen to that episode that we have.
Ooh.
But yes, this is a film, or a giallo, that features a young girl with the ability to telepathically communicate with insects, which helps her solve crimes when she pairs up with an entomologist and his pet chimpanzee.
Yes, that is succinct. There, we can end the episode right now.
It's almost too silly, and some might argue that it is. And I guess in 1985, if you're like, okay, oh my god, like I'm a big Argento fan, like I'm so excited for his next output, and you get this, I can understand how maybe this might be not the thing you want from the master of giallo films.
I don't know, man. I mean, I know a little bit about Inferno, and it's like, oh, well, that's not the Suspiria sequel that I wanted, but that movie is wackadoodle. Like, I feel like if you go into a Dario Argento film expecting anything less than the unexpected, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah, honestly, we probably need to cover those because I actually do like Inferno, and I do not like Mother of Tears, but it is one of the funniest movies I have ever seen.
Oh my god, the baby getting pitched off the...
It's so good. But so you might wonder, well, where the fuck did the idea for this film come from? And I'm pulling all this, by the way. Synapse has a really good 4K with a bunch of holders from their Blu-ray from 2016. So this is like there's like a 2-hour making of doc, and it's really intense. I pared it down as best I could.
Okay, let me have it.
Okay, so he got the idea for the film from a news broadcast he heard on the radio when he was on holiday with his mother. And the report was about a murder in France and how the police had discovered the identity of the killer by analyzing insects found in the room where the murder had been committed.
Yes. It's funny, right? Because I think at the time, this would have been pretty revolutionary in terms of crime-solving techniques. But, like, folks, there's a whole passage in Silence of the Lambs where Jodie Foster goes to talk to those guys, and they talk about, like, oh, yeah, if you see these kinds of bugs, that's going to tell you it's this kind of body or these conditions. So, like, this is where forensics starts to go.
To the point where I'm surprised we don't get more movies with insects. Maybe it's because they're probably really hard to film with, but...
yes. Yeah.
But anyway, this really interested Argento, and he kind of went into like a big rabbit hole.
Okay.
Of this concept of the insect as the detective. So he goes to France, he met with the famed forensic entomologist Marcel Leclerc, who sort of explained how insects can be used to solve crime. So to add on to what you just said, if you find dead insects in a room that have died for no obvious reason, it probably means that a gun was fired in the room at some point because the gun's deflagration killed them.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
I know. I had to look at deflagration, by the way. It's like the sonic boom of the gun or something.
Okay.
But immediately, Argento knew that he wanted this to be the subject of his next film, and he brought in screenwriter Franco Ferrini, one of 6 screenwriters on Sergio Leone's 1984 film Once Upon a Time in America, to do this with him. And I didn't know why, because for the most part, with the exception of the uncredited efforts of Daria Nicolodi, Argento's the sole screenwriter on most of his films.
Yeah, I was perplexed to see that there was a secondary writer on this.
So we had Ferrini read a book on entomology to establish that everything they wanted to put in the screenplay was in fact true, and it was. I mean, human telepathy aside.
Well, yes.
But they were specifically focusing on carrion insects, or insects that feed on dead organisms, and how a time of death can be determined by looking at the maggot's growth rate on the corpse.
So interesting.
I honestly, I was like, this is really neat. But apparently, the distributor head, Goffredo Lombardo, was very skeptical of Argento doing a film about insects. I
mean, it's not just a film about insects.
Well, but in his mind, he was like, he didn't think insects belonged in a crime film. But thanks to the success of the previous films that Argento had done, this guy had also distributed Tenebrae. He gave him the go-ahead and was like, you know what? You know what you're doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fucking Argento. It's basically a license to print money at this time.
Okay, but like...
I mean, admittedly, yes, this is also a movie about a teen girl and insects and a chimp.
Well,
so, okay.
I believe the general consensus is that this is probably the last quote-unquote good film Argento made before he started like a downward spiral into putting out a bunch of shit.
Really? Opera's 2 years after this. I thought people liked opera.
Oh, maybe opera's the last one then. But the 90s and the 2000s,
Oh, definitely no. I mean, it's basically when Daria Nicolodi walks away from him.
Well, that's after this film.
And opera.
No. Oh, is she in opera?
Yes, because they separate after this movie, and she comes back to work with him for opera.
So when writing the script, one of the first choices that Argento and Ferrini had to make was deciding who the protagonist was. Because their first thought was to make McGregor, the entomologist, played by Donald Pleasence, the protagonist, but then they decided they wanted to make him like a smart aleck character, someone who people might find disagreeable. They refer to him as a Jiminy Cricket type character, which I didn't really get from the movie, but
no.
Because of that, they were like, well, he can't be the protagonist. He's going to be in the movie, but he's not going to be the focus.
Right. Okay.
So they discarded the idea, eventually deciding that the main character was going to be a teenage girl, and a deciding factor in this was the fact that Dario's main audience was comprised of teenagers.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so they said, pander to your audience.
Basically. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, though. There's, like, so many shades of Suspiria, just the general plot in this movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, the entire opening feels like, are we just doing spiritual sequel?
That's kind of what it feels like. But speaking of Pleasence, by the way, Dario's first choice for this character was Academy Award winner Peter Ustinov, but there was a disagreement about his rate. So then they moved on to another Academy Award winner, Orson Welles.
Oh my god, okay.
Now here's the deal. They even had a deal in place and plane tickets bought, but Welles eventually took ill and had to drop out at the last minute. He would die 9 months after Phenomena's release in Italy.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to do the math in my head. I couldn't remember when he died, but yeah, by the 80s, he was probably not in great shape.
Well, and there was a whole ordeal where that basically Wells was going to come with his agent, and they kept calling the Italians, and they were like, hey, like, can you get us a third ticket? Well, yeah, who's coming? Oh, don't worry about it. Get us a third ticket. Well, okay, but who is it? It's because Wells was so big, he needed 2 seats.
No.
So I'm sure that contributed to his failing health.
Yeah.
But they replaced him with Donald Pleasence, whom everyone says was professional and polite, but also very quiet. Many said he was basically playing himself in this movie. And I saw that in some reviews too, where they were like, wow, Donald Pleasence is sleepwalking through this film. And I don't think he's sleepwalking. I also just don't think he's really given that much to do.
No, he's definitely not in it as much as I thought he was. And I'm not going to suggest that he gets killed off too early, because this movie is pretty lengthy and it's not like he goes out in the first act or anything. But I could have taken a bit more of him. I think part of the problem is that if you go into this movie expecting Dr. Loomis, you're not going to get that kind of performance.
No, not at all. And I think I'm sure he was directed that way. But again, because it's an Italian film, Italian cast, like he and Connelly are really the only English speakers on set, like full English speakers. So
right.
I always wonder if things get lost in translation.
I'm sure they probably do. Yeah.
But, of course, we couldn't mention a screenplay for an Argento film without mentioning, again, Daria Nicolodi, who plays Frau Bruckner in the film. And has
so fucking good in this movie.
Okay, honestly, she is great. And y'all, we're just going to spoil this right away. But, like, I didn't really call her. I didn't know who I thought the killer was going to be. But honestly, how could you expect? Because the way that this goes, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it totally makes sense after the fact. But initially, like, honestly, going right up until the end, I was like, well, it has to be somebody we know, unless it's a giallo, in which case it could be some random character we've never met who just sort of steps out of the darkness and says, hi, I'm the killer.
Exactly. And she didn't contribute as much to Phenomena's screenplay as she had in the past, mainly suggesting all of the sleepwalking bits because she was a former sleepwalker herself.
Oh, and I love the sleepwalking bits.
Me too. Well, and the white hallway of doors, like that is from her memory.
So good. Mm-hmm. It's so visually interesting.
Even though it doesn't really
it doesn't
mean anything.
Totally pay off. Well, yeah. I think part of it is that it's supposed to be Frau Bruckner's time when she was in the institute when she was sexually assaulted. Oh, P.S. everybody.
Content warning.
It's not the worst we've ever had, but like there's a mention of it.
Yeah, but we're not actually seeing it.
I mean, we'll talk about the disability representation later.
Yeah, we will. Now, Nicolodi was more involved in the casting process, though. So she was the one to go to the United States to look for their lead, the teenage Jennifer Corvino. And so this was like 1984 when this is happening. So she was actually turned away from a lot of places, as this would have been, the kind of a period when the American film market was really against the slasher or splatter film.
Yeah, it's a couple of years too late, so everybody was exhausted.
Yes, apparently one agent who was an older woman even threw the script at Nicolodi's face, screaming about how she was a grandmother and could never bring in a teenage girl for this movie.
Oh my god, come on.
I know. But they eventually found Jennifer Connelly, a future Academy Award winner Jennifer Connelly. Mm-hmm. She was suggested to Argento by Sergio Leone because, okay, here's the weird connection. So, we had Farini, who was a co-writer on Once Upon a Time in America in 84. Yes. Argento contributed to the screenplay of Leone's 1968 film Once Upon a Time in the West. Oh. And Jennifer Connelly's debut film, because Phenomena's her second film, but her first film was Once Upon a Time in America, playing the younger version of Elizabeth McGovern's character. So, like, all these Italians working on these Westerns knew each other.
Oh, yes, the spaghetti westerns, baby.
Mm-hmm. So they did wind up auditioning a bunch of girls between the ages of 10 and 13, but they said Connelly stood out, and so a meeting was arranged with her parents where they showed them clips from The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, which they liked. Mm-hmm. I guess I didn't know this. Apparently, Crystal Plumage could be PG-13. Like, it's not the super...
It's not gory at all.
Yeah. No. So they intentionally didn't show Connelly's parents scenes from films like Deep Red.
Oh, the movie that's named after blood? They didn't show her parents that one?
Yeah, so they really like the artistry on display in crystal plumage. But
did they show her any scenes with a window? Because this movie just confirms that Dario Argento loves to shove women's heads through windows. I'm sorry, I should not be laughing, but every time it happened, I just kept going, Dario, stop it!
If there's a window, a woman's head is going through it. Absolutely.
Truly.
But the deal was done, and Daria Nicolodi sort of became a second mother to Connelly on set, because I guess her parents weren't there.
Oh, okay.
But, okay, so let's talk about how, I'm going to say, unwieldy this plot is. So,
a little bit, yeah.
Phenomena also marked a bit of a business turning point for Argento, as it was the first film of his that was produced without the guiding hands of his father or his brother. His father, Salvatore, produced all of his films leading up to Suspiria, which is when his brother Claudio started taking over producing duties. But, like, Salvatore was still heavily involved in all the films. So, like, It was always a family affair, and the reason they weren't involved with this one is because there was a falling out that Dario had with Claudio, and Claudio, like, I guess got his start as the head of press at Paramount, who eventually wanted to get into film production, so then he started doing producing, which is when Suspiria happened, but this caused a rift also between him and his dad, and so while Claudio was out, it was the most hands-off that Salvatore had ever been, and I tried to Google this a little bit, I didn't do too deep of a dive, but, like, I couldn't tell what the issue was about, but everyone knew that they were having a falling out.
I mean, yeah, you would probably be used to seeing the other members of the family on set or being involved, and all of a sudden they're just absent.
Exactly. And so in their place, Dario decided to produce Phenomena himself, bringing in his production manager, Angelo Iacono, because Dario and his father were barely talking to each other during the production of Phenomena, Iacono essentially replaced him and Claudio as producer, despite not being credited as such, because obviously Dario was directing the film. But Iacono is credited as, like, the production manager.
Okay. That sounds financial.
Yes, and I honestly think it's kind of like, well, maybe Salvatore and Claudio were kind of the hands that were there to say, hey, maybe pull it back a little bit. And they weren't there for this movie.
I don't know. Again, see previous Argento films, which are always needlessly complicated and feature a number of subplots that don't ultimately go anywhere.
For sure. But again, like, I feel like with Argento fans, like, again, if you like this movie, you appreciate the batshittery on display here. Yes. But there are some, like, really intense Argento fans that don't like this movie.
I can see it. Like, there are certain moments of this film that feel like a weird fairy tale. And I feel like that could be an apt description for certain parts of other films in his oeuvre as well. But, like, in some ways, this feels like a giallo for young girls, which is maybe exactly what they intended.
Well, yeah, because it's honestly not as violent as you think it's going to be when you hear giallo.
No.
But another wrinkle in the mix was that at this point, and you kind of hinted at this already, but Dario and Daria were not on the same wavelength anymore, and everyone knew it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I don't do as much production research because I know that you're going to cover that half of the pod, but I did see that apparently one of the reasons that Daria didn't like this movie, I gathered it's a bit retroactive, but it does affect their relationship, is she didn't like the way disability was represented in the film.
Interesting. Well, so during the production, crew members would try to keep them close without upsetting them, but then found it difficult to keep them focused when they were together. And at this point, Daria even told one of the crew members that this was going to be the last time she'd be working with Dario on a film set, which I took at face value because this interview was from 2016. I didn't realize she was also in opera.
Yeah, I don't know how they got back together for that film, but we've talked about their relationship before. You know, she was basically his collaborator, equal opportunity, except that she never got that kind of credit. She never gets co-writing credit on his films. And I mean, he's a big personality. I think she was a big personality. Yeah. So it's just one of those when they were great, they were probably really good together.
Well, but when they were together, they were great. The films were great.
Yeah, and I think this is the period of time where the wheels are falling off.
Yes. So, okay. On-location filming took place in Switzerland, with many interiors being shot on sound stages in Italy. And this all lasted from August through October of 1984, which means that Jennifer Connelly was 13 when she filmed this movie.
Wow. Okay, so she's actually age appropriate.
Which I think she looks older than 13. I would have said 14 or 15.
I mean, it feels like a minor difference.
Splitting hairs, I know. Yeah. But it marked the first film in Italy to use the Steadicam, so everyone go back and listen to our episode on The Shining to hear more about that. And yes, it involved a trained chimpanzee. So the original choice was to use a smaller monkey like a marmoset, but I guess a chimpanzee was the only monkey they could get that was pre-trained. Otherwise, if they got a marmoset, they'd have to spend weeks either waiting for it to be trained or training it themselves. So they were like, cool, chimpanzee it is. Even though...
You know what? Let's go for the easy option, shall we?
Exactly. Even though Argento did his very best to avoid shooting the rosebud of an asshole on this thing.
Yeah, that's quite a pronounced buttocks.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. Not pleasing to the eyes.
What, you don't like that dump truck? Come on.
I do not like rosebuds. There was an incident, though, where the chimp bit Connelly when, basically, like, it's the scene when she was on McGregor's chair, they're going up to, like, find something in a room, and...
Oh, yes, yeah.
The chair jerks, and...
Oh, it got scared.
Yeah, and then it bit her, and so Connelly refused to work with it again, so they used the body double for most of the remaining scenes between her and the chimp.
Oh, interesting.
Except for the last scene. I guess, like, the last scene...
I was gonna say, I don't know how you would fake that.
Yeah, but I guess by that point they had kind of rebonded or she'd gotten over it or something. I don't know.
Okay. Or she's like, you know what, this is the end, so I'm gonna troop through it.
Exactly. Oh, I will say, too, like, I did find... Someone sent me a clip of Jennifer Connelly. So she's on Conan O'Brien in 2008 promoting the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. And... Conan's kind of like, oh, you don't do a lot of comedies. And she's like, well, not intentionally. And then she talks about her experience of getting bit on this film. And I love it because Conan O'Brien's like, well, you move on to better things. So let's talk about The Day the Earth Stood Still. And I'm like... Record scratch. That's such a boring movie.
Oh, yeah, no thanks.
But anyway, you may also note the inclusion of, shall we say, a good amount of heavy metal in Phenomena's soundtrack.
Yeah, I was like, is this Goblin? And if so, what has happened to them?
So Goblin is there. He puts a lot of different music in this film. So the score, the soundtrack isn't exclusively Goblin, but they get the title track.
Okay.
So Simon Boswell comes in for a bit, and then a lot of it's just various bands. Like Iron Maiden has songs on this soundtrack and things like that.
Okay, yes, that makes sense.
I guess people really don't like it. I agree it's very jarring, but honestly, I got a jolt every time it started. And
it's definitely different.
Well, that was the intent. So, like, basically, Argento's like, I'm just a really big fan of the genre. Like, I think it's the kind of music that stimulates your nervous system. And so he felt that it gave some scenes a necessary push. So he threw it in just whenever he felt the film needed that push.
Okay. Well, I guess... hearing that explanation, I can't entirely disagree with him.
I mean, when it starts, you're kind of like, what the fuck is
what the hell?
But then, I'm not a headbanger, but I'm sitting there like, bah, da, 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 da.
Yeah, kill her, or wait, what? What am I doing?
Yeah. Okay, let's get into these cuts. So, Phenomena was released in Italian cinemas on January 31st, 1985, with a runtime of 116 minutes, an hour and 56 minutes.
Yes.
This is known as the Italian cut of the film and was edited by Franco Fraticelli, Argento's longtime collaborator, who at that point had cut all of his films, with the exception of 1971's Four Flies on Grey Velvet.
Okay.
In addition to the 116-minute Italian cut, a slightly shorter 110-minute English-language version was prepared for sale for international markets, and this is known as the international cut. And I think this is the one that most of us have seen, or that is most available, because the Italian cut, while 6 minutes longer, isn't Italian.
Okay. Do you know the difference between the cuts? Like, what's missing in the 6 minutes?
Oh, yeah, I will. This version was created in Italy by Argento's usual team, and much like Deep Red, which has a similar like two-cut thing,
right?
The standard convention was that Franco Fraticelli would edit the longer Italian version, while leaving the task of creating the tighter export version to his assistant Pietro Bazza. And unlike Deep Red, though, whose international version loses entire scenes...
Oh, yeah. Very confusing.
Phenomena's trims are much more subtle and concerned primarily with tightening up rather than a wholesale revision. Because I own Deep Red, I've seen Deep Red, and I was told after watching the longer cut that I might like the shorter cut more, and I didn't. I don't like either version. But there's whole chunks missing, like very obvious chunks missing out of that movie, and it's just shorter, but not necessarily better.
Right.
So, in Phenomena, the changes are so subtle that it's possible to watch the same scenes in both versions back to back and not realize that any changes have taken place.
Oh, okay. So that is very tiny cuts then.
Yeah, it's like a nip here, a tuck there, often 6 to 7 frames, so what, a fourth of a second at the beginning or end of various shots. And they're so minuscule that it almost defies logic they were even made in the first place. And there's very few instances of actual lost dialogue between the cuts, with the only two big instances being mostly the climax of Daria Nicolodi. So during the whole, like, take the pill, that's a bit longer in the Italian cut. And then the scene when she knocks out Jennifer on the phone and drags her body around the room, like, that's longer in the Italian cut. So the international cut cuts out some of Nicolodi's histrionic acting.
Oh, but that's like part of the best fun.
I know. Well, and so there is a 30-minute visual essay on this 4K and Blu-ray where they basically, like, they'll do side-by-side comparison. And it's like, they'll, like, black out the screen on one side when it's like, oh, they cut this, but it's like, it's still playing and you come back. The one thing they do say is that the Italian version, it makes Nicolodi's performance better because it's her actual speaking voice, like, doing the dialogue, but you lose a lot of the nuance in Pleasence's and Connelly's performances. Whereas in the international cut, you get that from Pleasence and Connelly since it's in English, but you lose that from the Italian speakers.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I had a very interesting watching experience of this because I also have that Synapse version. It's beautiful. Highly recommend. We're not being paid for this, but yeah, because usually, you know me, I like to watch things in their original intended language, and I will just watch it because I already have subtitles on because I cannot watch things without subtitles these days.
Yeah, me neither.
And I prefer it that way. And, you know, I remember when we first covered Argento, Michael Verratti guested, and he told us, oh, like, the dubbing is actually part of the experience. So, like, you shouldn't be afraid to watch Italian movies or Argento's Italian films with the dubbing, even though it sometimes causes a kind of breakage and disconnect in your brain. It's like, that is part of the experience of watching those giallos. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know, like, which one should I try to watch? And I found that even if I watched the English one, the subtitles were actually wrong a lot of the time. So, like, I would be hearing the English vocal performance of Connelly or Pleasence, and, like, it was just different words, but it was really jarring to me. So it was an interesting, occasionally frustrating, and odd experience to watch this film. So if I quote dialogue and I get it wrong or it sounds different than what you experience, listeners, that's probably why.
Well, and I did get to screen this for Terror Tuesday this week, and this was a mostly, like, a nearly sold out screening. So I was kind of like, okay, it's probably a lot of Argento heads, like, coming into this, and I was shocked.
The infamous Denver Argento fan.
Well, I was shocked because I mean, again, you know, my attendance goes up and down, but, like, if it's like a heavy hitter, I'm like, okay, yeah, clearly there are some fans here, and I was shocked. At least 3/4 of the hands went up when I asked who was watching this for the first time tonight. And so
wait, what brought them out?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I'm gonna say it's me. It's me and my charms.
Of course it is.
But so I don't know if any of them had experience though with Italian horror films, and I made very clear, you know, it took me a while to get into Italian horror films because I didn't really deal with the dubbing very well until, like, you know, I'm older, wiser, smarter, and I get it's part of the charm now. But the laughter in this movie, like, I mean, you would think I was screening a comedy. Like, it was a really fun viewing experience, but like, people were laughing non-stop, and it started pretty early on with some of the bad dubbing. And so I'm like, I don't know if some of these people have seen this kind of film before.
Yeah, dubbing can be quite the adventure.
Yeah.
Some people just find it completely off-putting, but yeah, it's interesting then. I'd be so curious to know if people enjoyed the movie for what it was, or if they were just like, oh man, that dubbing, so wild, what a great movie.
I mean, well, I think as it went on and, like, the dialogue became less important than what was just actually, like, happening on screen, then it was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. Like, oh my, people were walking out, like, that was wild. And I was like, I know, right?
I mean, that is an accurate description. Like, I feel like sometimes maybe people think I overuse the term wild. It's just because I think it's such a great descriptor that can be very all-encompassing. But folks, I'm not going to lie. I was shocked where this movie goes in the last act, to the point where I immediately messaged you and was just like, this movie is fucking wild, but I truly mean it this time.
It was a thing. I don't usually program films before I've seen them, and this was a case where I did, because I was like, hey, we're going to cover it. I can see it on the big screen, like, whatever. And I was like, why didn't I screen this for Weird Wednesday?
Right? It's a bit more appropriate, isn't it?
Just a little bit. But Okay, it is important to note, though, that Phenomena was the first Argento film to make heavy use of actual production sound, as opposed to the usual Italian practice of post-dubbing, most notably in the scenes with Pleasence and Connelly.
Sure, because you got them there, so you can use them.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, the longer Italian version is dubbed in its entirety, so there you go.
Okay.
What you don't want to watch, though, so we've gotten over two cuts, the Italian cut and the international cut.
Tell me about the Creepers cut.
Okay, this US release. So I'd heard about this, and I didn't know how it got to this. So the rights to Phenomena were acquired by New Line Cinema, whose recent release of Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street was in the process of transforming them from a small independent distributor into a major Hollywood player.
The house that Freddy built, and then Dario Argento nearly ruined it.
Yes. So released theatrically on August 8th, 1985, Phenomena was retitled Creepers and shorn of 27 minutes of material.
God. No, you cannot cut out 25% of a film's runtime and still expect it to make sense.
Oh, it gets better. These cuts were carried out in America at the behest of New Line executives who were determined to reduce the film to a more crowd-pleasing length. And the task of overseeing this fell to none other than Jack Shoulder, fresh off directing A Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge. So he
get out of here. So he ruined another movie, is what you're telling me.
He turned that movie in and then got immediately to work on re-editing Phenomena into Creepers. And
you mean fucking with this movie?
So, but here's the thing. So Shoulder's cut reworks the film into a brisker, more focused, and at times more linear slasher movie. But New Line didn't just take the film and hack it up. They had access to all the materials that any editor would, including separate dialogue tracks, music, effects tracks. So this was literally like they handed him all the pieces and said, here you go, make an American cut of this movie.
Yeah, so he made a whole new edit of his own choosing.
Yes, and what this video essay says is it's interesting because you don't have an editor redoing the film, you have a filmmaker redoing the film. So this is almost like Jack Shoulder's Phenomena instead of Dario Argento's Phenomena, because it does change a lot of things in the film.
Don't love that.
So, an example of the types of differences you'll see are when dialogue is overlaid on establishing shots that were previously silent to achieve a much brisker, again, more narrative-focused effect. So, insert shots were added to break up Argento's long takes. Because of this, characters changed locations between shots, destroying any sense of continuity.
Oh my god, they're just teleporting?
Yes, one scene where the one where the doctor's in the asylum, like in the padded room, that was moved from its original location immediately following McGregor's death to after the scene when Bruckner picks Jennifer up from the bank. I don't know why that was moved. But here's the thing. So I watched the Creepers cut first because I was like, I wanted to see what Americans saw, and then I'll watch like the official version of this film. And
okay, what was your initial impression? Were you like, oh, this movie has been a little fucked with, but it kind of makes sense?
I don't think the movie makes sense in any iteration.
How dare you?
But that's not even a bad thing. But this is the weird thing. So I walked out saying, okay, like I thought it was okay in the beginning, but then like in the back half, I thought it was really apparent that things had been cut out because there's very little connective tissue between scenes.
Right.
I was shocked to find out the largest amount of footage lost is in the first half of the film.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we're trying to make it brisker, so we want to get to the good shit faster.
Exactly. So here's an example. So the scene when Jennifer summons the flies at her school when the girls are bullying her around.
Right.
This is the 57-minute mark of the Italian and international cuts, but it happens 36 minutes into the Creepers cut, so 21 minutes earlier.
Okay.
So basically, they thought the first half of Phenomena was by far its slowest, and while there are still plenty of cuts after that point, nothing as noticeably drastic as the cuts in the first half.
Huh, okay.
I know.
Interesting.
But this video essay on the Synapse release is actually it's imported from Arrow Video. So, this guy, Michael McKenzie, he basically sums it up as this. Creepers feels like a strange greatest hits version of the other two cuts with little sense of pacing, consistency, and tone. With so many of the individual components removed, it crumbles like a house of cards. And it's a thing where I actually really like this point he made. He kind of said, like, when you start to see all the little things they cut out, you start to realize how much intent was put into the framing and the structure of the film. Yeah. But it's only after you see it after it's cut out.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wait, this doesn't make sense anymore. And then you go back and revisit it and realize, oh, there was meaning. There was, almost like an artistry to the way that you might put a film together. And when you let another person hack it to bits, the artistry gets ruined.
Well, exactly. And I think that's because, though, again, people look at this and they're like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? There's no, like, sense of logic or anything. This is just, like, ridiculous. Like, who made this? And it's just like, well, actually, there was a lot more intent than you would think based on the ridiculousness of this plot.
Yes. If you don't like this movie, blame Jack Shoulder. And if you do like this movie, give credit to Daria and maybe a little bit to Dario.
Yeah, sure. But Phenomena did earn 2.7 billion lira at the Italian box office, outgrossing films such as Gremlins, Dune, and The Terminator that year in Italy.
Okay.
In Italy.
Yes. We like the home crowd, right?
Mm-hmm. I do not have box office information for Creepers, but it supposedly did well in video rentals. So, yes, there you go.
There we go. I mean, even the title change feels, this is made for blockbuster crowd.
Mm-hmm. The international cut wasn't made available in the States until 1999 when Anchor Bay released it on DVD. So that means for the first 14 years, you can only get Creepers.
Yep. It was dark days. There were a lot of times where you were just like, I'm never going to see that movie, or I'm only going to see the bastardized version of it.
Exactly. And the Italian cut, I don't think was released in the US until 2016 when Synapse put out this Blu-ray. And
that is wild.
I did not watch the Italian cut. I mean, again, after watching the video essay where I was like, it's not really that much different. Like, it's fine. I didn't feel the need to rewatch it a fourth time because I watched Creepers once and the international cut twice.
Okay.
Critically, the film wasn't particularly loved when it came out, with many noting the bizarre plot developments and unfocused narrative. But even so, we're looking at a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. And
all right.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty good.
That's not that bad. I thought it was going to be like in the 50s.
That's what I thought. And then Letterboxd users have given this a 3.6 out of 5 or a 7.2 out of 10. So I'm like, okay,
yeah, baby, Letterboxd gets it.
Where are the haters? People, maybe it's because the haters are more on Creepers back in the day. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Curious. What did you log this as?
I gave the Creepers cut a 3 because I had no idea what to expect from this movie. And so when I got to the end of Creepers, which the credits roll in Creepers at the 80-minute mark, whereas in the international cut, it's the 1 hour and 47-minute mark. So I gave that a 3, and then I gave the international cut a 4 because this was so much fun.
I fucked with this movie. Yeah, I gave it a 4 too. I was just like, man, this has high rewatchability. It is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And again, for being a nearly 2 hour slasher film, which doesn't even have that much slashing in it, especially for the middle chunk, it's like, whatever, who cares? Let's watch her follow some insects.
Shit. Yeah, weird shit happening all the time in this movie.
All the time. And I can imagine where like 10 years ago, I would have found this very annoying. But at the bright young age of 36, I think this is awesome.
It's called growth, Trace. Growth. Not gonna lie, I think the other reason that I really went hard for this film, it was giving Cuckoo vibes. Like, it has the same kind of feel. And maybe just because we're both set in the Alps, but it was like, we've got some weird doctors, we've got some shenanigans running around in the woods, just a bunch of wackadoodle shit going on, stuff in hospitals. So I don't know. I was just like, I kind of love this as like, this is maybe my new double bill.
It's like a new subgenre. The Swiss Transylvania. Did they say Swiss Transylvania in Cuckoo? Because I
don't think so. But if they do, yes.
That'd be really funny. I know. Like, more Swiss Transylvania films, please.
Oh my God, yes. Let's unlock that.
But, okay, Joe. So, what happens in this movie?
Well, before we can do that, Trace, would you like to play a game?
I want to play a game. The rules are simple. What you have to do is sit here and talk to me.
Oh, God. It's Italian shit. Okay, yeah, sure, I guess.
Okay. It's not even Italian shit. Don't worry. You should be okay. But let me start you off easy. So you mentioned the Anchor Bay DVD release of this. Mm-hmm. So there are a couple of different trailers on here.
Oh, God.
I am going to give you a description, and I would like you to tell me the movie.
Oh, I'm going to be bad at this. Okay.
We'll start with a softball one, maybe. So this is a 2006 film by Dario Argento, and it is his entry into the Masters of Horror canon.
I really don't know the answer to this. I know like 2 of these titles.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen probably 2/3 of the Masters of Horror. Okay, so his entry is called Pelts.
Never would have guessed that.
Yeah, it's actually not one of the ones that I have seen, which is ironic because I was a huge I'm going to watch a bunch of Dario Argento films when this was coming out.
I feel like the one everyone knows is Miike, is the imprint one.
Yes, that's one of the ones that gets banned. So.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Second, also from the Anchor Bay DVD, you should be able to get this one. This is a 2007 film that shares its name with a teenage sex comedy. I can give you a follow-up. The sex comedy that is not this movie but shares the title has Alicia Cuthbert in it.
Oh my God. They were just talking about this in the Horror Quiz Discord, too.
Mm-hmm.
The Girl Next Door, which is an atrocious movie. We bought the DVD, like blind bought it, because we really liked An American Crime, the one with Elliot Page and Catherine Keener. And
right, based on the same story.
That movie, great. The Girl Next Door, hot garbage. Like, really bad.
Yeah, this is based on the Jack Ketchum book, I believe, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there you go. 1 out of 2. Let's move on to the French release of this film, Trace. So this one actually had many trailers, including several films that we have covered before, including Hellraiser, Hellbound Hellraiser 2, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which we have a Patreon audio commentary on. But I would like you to tell me the name of a 1996 Brian Yuzna slasher film.
The Dentist.
Correct.
Yes!
I figured if I gave you his name, you would probably be able to get it.
Yeah, if you had just said 1996 slasher, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But as soon as you said Yuzna, I was like, okay, like, I mean, come on. Do you remember seeing the box for The Dentist and The Dentist 2 at Blockbuster? Like, it was, like, the blades coming out of the gums in the mouth. Those movies are so fun, by the way.
It's interesting. So I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this. And then I realized, no, I always confuse this with Dr. Giggles.
And I've never seen Dr. Giggles, but...
Oh, not good, but kind of fun.
Oh my God. You should watch The Dentist.
I should watch The Dentist? Okay.
Yeah, like, I think like Vestron did like a double dip Blu-ray release of them. And I was like, sure, like $17 for 2 movies, whatever.
I love Vestron for their like... Oh, here, we'll just give you all the Wishmaster movies and charge you $15 for them.
I think, though, I always thought that the Dentist movies were going to be like really serious, scary, gory horror films.
Uh-huh. Are they campy?
Well, I mean, it's Yuzna. It's Reanimator stuff.
Yeah,
so, I mean, like, they're definitely gory. There's some really good, like, tooth stuff in it. Like, the effects are really, really, really good. Like, they built, like, giant models of mouths.
Fun.
But
I mean, not fun, but also fun.
No, but that's, it's. I wouldn't call it a horror comedy. Like, it is campy, but it definitely has Yuzna sensibilities to it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. When I saw this on the list, I thought, oh, I should pick this out of all of these trailers because I think that that's an interesting title to even just have a brief conversation about.
Oh yeah, and Corbin Burnson having fun.
There we go. Okay, sticking with this France release, one other trailer. So this is another Argento film. It's from 1998, and it has the same name as a film that we covered late last year.
Phantom of the Opera.
Correct.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I actually do want to see Argento's Phantom of the Opera. I really do want to go through his filmography now, even to all the shit, because I'm just curious now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like us testing some of these waters has helped you to maybe gain, yes, a new appreciation, but I think even just to break down some of your expectations about what constitutes a giallo, what drives Argento films. Like, I think it's helpful to be reminded when you are so character arc or plot focused that there's a bunch of movies that aren't going to do that, and you need to find a way to still have a conversation about them.
100%. And I think, again, that was just my big struggle in my teenage and early adult years.
Sure, you're like, this movie doesn't make any fucking sense. It's a bad movie. And then you realize, oh, the kids talk about things like vibes or, oh, it's a mood. And that's not to give movies a pass for being completely illogical and just like going big on visual aesthetics, but like you can gain appreciation for different things.
Yeah. And in this case, I like throwing everything at the wall and seeing if it all sticks. And
you love wackadoodle shit.
I mean, honestly, it all sticks. I'm not sure if it all sticks together, but it sticks.
Yes. There we go. We do have a movie. Yeah. Okay, final round for this game. We're going to move on to the Holland release.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to give you the name of the film, and I would like you to tell me what it's about. So this is a Spanish film from 1999 called The Nameless.
You fucking kidding me? It sounds like a ghost movie or an evil children movie. And maybe it's both. Or is it a creature feature?
Okay, you were actually closer with your first two guesses. Not quite on the mark, because obviously you're just going off of a very generic title.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I can tell you that this is based on a 1981 horror novel of the same name by an English writer named Ramsey Campbell. But the plot of this film follows a mother who receives a phone call from her believed deceased daughter 5 years after her apparent occult-related ritualized murder, uncovering a nefarious cult preoccupied with the metaphysical aspects of corruption and evil. And Trace, I can tell you, I've actually seen this movie. I guested on Certified Forgotten to talk about this.
Oh.
It is also a bit of a wackadoodle movie. It doesn't fully come together. It has a really divisive ending. But I will say, folks, if you can ever find this, it was difficult to track down. I don't know how easy it is now in the day and age of streaming. But I actually quite like this one.
Okay.
So if you like serial killer shit, there's definitely a bit of an homage to Silence of the Lambs in here, where we have to go and speak to a convicted serial killer in prison and so on. But it's very like mother teams up with private investigator or like newspaper guy so that we can investigate, and we're, going to shady areas of town and we're getting weird messages. And it's like, is it her daughter or is the daughter actually dead? What the fuck is going on?
Well, apparently the financial success of The Nameless helped get films like Wreck and The Orphanage made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spanish cinema, baby.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. So that is our game. Thank you for playing. I recognize that I made this one a little bit harder than usual.
Yeah, that was stupid.
You know what? It was entertaining for other people to listen to.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Road trips are all about the sights, the sounds, and the snacks. So pack the ultimate road trip fuel, Blue Diamond Almonds. This summer, they're your chance to win a new car. Buy any 12-ounce or larger bag, enter the code at bdroadtrip.com, and you could score thousands of prizes, including a new set of wheels. Hit the road with Blue Diamond. No purchase necessary. End September 15th. Open to 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 years or older. For rules, including free entry method, visit bdroadtrip.com. Void where prohibited. Grand prize awarded as $50,000 cash via PayPal. This promotion is in no way sponsored, endorsed, administered by, or associated with PayPal Inc.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet. For a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Let's talk about not creepers. Only phenomena. So, we open on teen girl Vera Brandt. I had to go to Wikipedia to find this girl's name because I don't think it ever gets said.
It is, but way later.
Okay. So she is played by Dario Argento. Don't know if this is a relation, but I have to assume yes.
It definitely is. This is, Ozia's sister.
Okay, there we go. So she is left behind on a country road in Switzerland because she has missed the bus. So we get the credits, some very beautiful looking scenery. And then this girl approaches a nearby house because the weather is turning. She needs to get into some safety, get a roof over her head. But this is not a welcoming house, Trace. We've got someone or something yanking on chains that have been attached to the wall. And Vera ultimately gets briefly strangled by these chains. She gets stabbed in the hand by a giant pair of scissors.
To the point where I was actually a little bummed that the pair of scissors aren't like the main weapon of the murderer.
It's giving, what's our not giallo film?
Inside is scissors.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking Malignant.
Oh, yeah. And just, this will be the only time I really mention this, but like one example, so the Creeper's cut to this, it's like this opening scene is 2 minutes shorter in the Creeper's cut. And
okay.
In the international cut, in the Italian cut, it's kind of like, oh, look, you have all these like shots of like, you know, the Swiss landscape and like, but she kind of finds this house on her own. But Shoulder edits the Creepers cut to be like, okay, here's a shot of the house. Here's her looking in that direction. Oh, she sees the house from the road and that's where she goes.
And she goes. Yeah.
So we cut all the fat off. It's like, oh, there's the house. Let's go. Instead of kind of like, oh, she's like wandering around.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So, yes, she's being attacked in this house, and she ultimately makes a run for it outside, and I just love all of this because we don't really know where we are, even though we did get all of those beautiful scenic landscape shots. But she's running on this path, and then all of a sudden there's like a banister or a guardrail attached to it, and you realize, oh, she's running on a path to an observation window that looks out onto this waterfall, which is really gorgeous. But unfortunately, anybody who knows how these things operate, it's like, oh, well, that's a dead end, sweetie.
Well, it's also like you're going down that waterfall. And so at least one part of you is going down this waterfall.
I mean, I saw a window, so I knew that she was going to go through it because, as we said, it's Argento. But I did not expect to just get this extreme long shot of the beautiful waterfall. And then you just see... I mean, I think they just threw a wig, but it basically it's her head going into the falls.
There's a cast of her head that was made, and apparently, like, it did wash down shore. And in the Swiss newspapers, like, there was a report about the remains of a girl found, and so they had to call the police and tell them, "Hey, like, we're filming this. Like, we couldn't retrieve the head because it went down the river." I don't know if you noticed this too, but there was a significant drop in video quality on the slow motion shot whenever her head first goes through the window.
Maybe
it is. It looks like a VHS home video, and maybe in the original version it didn't look like this because it wasn't a 4K, but on my 4K, this is a very noticeable dip, and this is because they were using a different camera for the slow motion, one that shot 340 frames per second as opposed to the usual 24.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, I love a slow motion going through a window scene.
I mean, and the glass just keeps falling on her, like it is. Yeah. But yeah, so her head just boop. Tossed out that waterfall.
Yep. But we actually also get to see the body getting dragged away. So we know that it's not like, oh, we just killed this girl and then left the body to be found later on. Because we will come to learn we take the bodies with us.
Yeah, but we'll find that out much later.
Yeah. Okay, so we change location and it is nighttime. We see a chimp who will eventually be named Inga, delivering a scalpel, a letter opener, some kind of shark object?
It's definitely a scalpel. It's 100% a scalpel. Because a letter opener wouldn't be dangerous.
I mean, there's a pointy edge to it.
But it's not a blade. A scalpel is like, cuts through skin like butter.
Sure. Yes.
It's a scalpel.
Okay, so Inga delivers the scalpel to differently abled entomologist Dr. John McGregor, Donald Pleasence, and he is telling Inspector Rudolph Geiger, who is played by Patrick Baucho. Do you recognize this actor?
I do not. His assistant I know is Michael Suave.
Yes. So director Michael Suave of Cemetery Man, an early episode on the podcast.
And Stage Fright.
And Stage Fright, yes, thank you. So Patrick Baucho is the husband of Jodie Foster in Panic Room.
Holy shit! Oh, I did not put that together.
I mean, in your defense, he spends most of that film under heavy makeup because he's gotten the shit kicked out of him by Jared Leto and Dwight Yoakam, so kind of makes sense.
Well, he's also not really in this movie that much, and I think...
Not a ton.
Because, a trait of giallo films is that the detective kind of plays a big part in it, and I would argue, and this is where the twist comes in, like, yes, there's a detective here, but the true detective of this film is Jennifer and her bugs.
Indeed, yeah. So we usually get police officers, or we'll get police officer stand-ins, right? So we'll get a novelist who's writing a book in Italy and he gets wrapped up into the murders, or a painter or a museum curator, but like it's usually adult men who have a kind of hankering for mystery. It's not usually teenage girls, like, which is probably why this feels closer to something like Suspiria.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Which, and of course, like I remember one time I called Suspiria giallo and I got told that was not correct.
It's contentious. Yeah. Okay, so Dr. McGregor is telling Inspector Geiger about these insects. So this is kind of our introduction to entomology and how you can use insects to tell the time of death and maybe where they came from and other things like that. And basically, these officers are here because we have an active serial killer of teenage girls on the loose, and they are hoping that Dr. McGregor will consult on the case to help them.
So I think this is really interesting because we get this, this head, this decapitated head that we'll learn is Vera's head. But there's this whole bit where McGregor is like, oh, look, my assistant or someone, Greta, who has also gone missing. And we never really get a payoff for Greta. We never really find Greta's body. I guess I just think it's weird that the cold open kill isn't Greta.
Yeah. It feels like that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, because I don't think we really ever do anything. Like, we see her hand, and then later on we see a bunch of bodies in a pit that Jennifer Connelly will fall into, and I think we're meant to assume that, oh, it's probably her body in there and a bunch of other victims.
We don't ever really learn either why Bruckner keeps the bodies.
No, we do not.
She just does.
Just does. Yeah. I don't think it's her decision. I think it's her son's decision.
I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man.
Okay, we'll speculate.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we're talking about a killer of teenage girls, so let's cut to introduce the movie's heroine, junior detective protagonist. This would be Jennifer Corvino, played by Jennifer Connelly, and she is arriving in the Transylvania of Switzerland.
Which is... Do we have a name for this place?
I can't remember if they ever actually name it. I didn't really catch it. We just know it's somewhere in Switzerland, and we talk a little bit about the wind that comes over that turns people mad. We'll talk about that in a bit.
And that is a real thing that I definitely did look up.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, it looks like we're filming some of this in Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich seems to be the main place if we're actually filming outside. But I don't know if that's where it's actually set.
Yeah. I feel like it's purposely nameless, except for, we're going to tell you the country that we're in so that some of the architecture and the hills make sense.
I want to know where to go for Swiss Transylvania if I ever go to Switzerland.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so Jennifer is being driven to the Richard Wagner Academy for Girls, and she is being accompanied by Frau Bruckner, who is played by Daria Nicolodi. I had an exclamation mark in my notes because I was so excited to see her.
The way I wanted to say Frau Blucher every time from Young Frankenstein.
Sure. So in the car, this is our introduction to Jennifer's unique love and affection for various insects, where we have this encounter with a bee and everybody is freaking the fuck out, and Jennifer's just like, it's fine, calm down.
I love the close-up shot too of it because it looks like it's trying to sting her hand, because you can't pull a stinger off a bee, it's obviously going to kill it, so they trimmed its stinger.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, because this is a movie from 1985, or this is when it gets released, because folks, we're at the end of our 10-year 4-movie marathon. Yay, we've crossed a decade in the last 4 weeks. But I don't know how stringent we were being with animal cruelty or caring for animals on set. I don't think it was a great big deal back then.
It may not have been up to the standard of today, but I will tell you, a good chunk of that 2-hour making of documentary is showing how they did a lot of the insect stuff. And it seems on the up and up to me, but I may not be the best judge of that.
I'm glad to hear, because I feel like people often look at, if there's a dog, I want to make sure the dog wasn't harmed. But this is a movie that deals with beetles and flies, and who gives a fuck about them? And it's like, well, no, but it's part of the film. You're supposed to take care of the creatures that work on a film set. No
matter how big or small. And I'll talk about some of the effects later, but at the end, the climax, those are quite literally thousands of flies, all over this kid. So... Yeah.
Okay, so we arrive at this Academy for Girls, and Jennifer is greeted quite coolly by the head mistress, who is played by Dalila Di Lazzaro. And I thought that this woman was the most likely candidate to be the killer, but I guess in hindsight, that's the red herring.
Yeah, she's totally the red herring, but I would have taken more from this actress, because I really liked, I like this type of character.
Oh, sure. She's such a bitch, and you're like, my God, what's your damage, Heather?
And it is a thing where it's we're watching a 2-hour movie. Why can't you give this woman more to do? But
because we gotta go to some weird places, Trace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So headmistress doesn't really love us, but our new roommate, Sophie, does. So Sophie is played by Frederica Mastroianni. And I gotta say, I knew Sophie was doomed from the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just how these things work. But I really like this character. She's cute.
I do too. Okay, but there's a part after she dies where like Jennifer's like, "This is for Sophie," and I was like, "Why? Sophie was a bitch. Like she didn't like you."
I think she did.
No,
you don't think she liked Jennifer?
No, the way she talks to her boyfriend about Jennifer is like, "Oh, she's so weird," blah blah blah, and then she only decides to. Well, she says she's going to help watching her after Jennifer helps her in a class problem,
right?
But then she doesn't watch her anyway. She's a stupid bitch.
Trace, I feel like you're not appreciating the siren call of sneaking out to get some dick.
No, I totally am. I'm just saying, why did Jennifer give a shit about her?
Okay, fair. Yeah. I think it's because Jennifer, you get the impression because her father, we will learn, is a famous film actor. And I think it's also a missed opportunity that we never get to see what Paul Corvino looks like, or he never appears. Like, I don't know why we have to get this underling Morris showing up and getting decapitated. It's like, no, give us her fucking father, who clearly sends her to boarding schools all the time.
They wanted this to be Al Pacino, and they wanted the character to also be Al Pacino, but he declined and said it was in poor taste to make it about a daughter he didn't have.
Oh, fuck off. Come on.
Yeah.
Name it Al Pacino, then.
I mean, honestly, too, if Al Pacino could have been decapitated in, like, the final moments of this movie.
I mean, the way that Morris shows up at the airport, gets in the car, shows up for 1 second, is like, Jennifer, decapitated. I fucking loved
it's so
it.
Good. Killed my audience, too. Because I think they were like, okay, the movie's almost over, and then you get that, and it's like, what?
So good. It's so good. Okay, so yes, Jennifer bonds with Sophie over things like vegetarian baby food, as well as, yes, their mutual love and affection for Paul Corvino. I love that Sophie says, "Oh my God, I love him." Like, basically, "Oh, he makes me so wet." And Jennifer just goes, "That's my dad."
Okay, I actually really do like Jennifer Connelly's performance in this movie. I really like this character of Jennifer, and I saw some reviews that were like, wow, she's not giving the camera anything to work with. And I was like, I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I'm going to push back on you a little bit. I think at times she comes off as a little sleepy or confused. I think what people might be complaining about is that they would expect her reactions to be a little bit bigger, right? Like the moments where she realizes in her sleepwalking memories, oh my God, I basically saw Sophie's corpse. Like that's where I got this glove from. She doesn't really have a reaction. It's all quite muted. And I think, especially for North American audiences, we want to see our scream queen. We want to see our final girl. So where's the Jennifer Love Hewitt-sized reaction? And I think Connelly occasionally gives that to us, but there are times where she seems as mystified by what's going on as the character she's playing.
I guess I just attribute that to the fact that, yeah, she's kind of this sleepwalker. She is kind of in a dreamlike state. And so, like, I just feel like that's just kind of part of who she is as a character. But she also has, I mean, as a character, has so much agency in some of these scenes. And, I mean, weren't we just talking last week where it's like, oh, have you ever, like, overheard people listening, like, talking about you and, like, not said anything? And I was like, oh, she does that in this movie. She walks up to these people and says, "That's mine. Go away."
Fuck you. Fly army. Descend.
Dude, the fact that she doesn't stick a bunch of insects after some of these girls that are characters, that's my biggest missed opportunity, where I was like, I just wanted one of these girls to get insected.
Yeah, these bitches needed their comeuppance. Or like, oh, if you're not going to make the headmistress somebody significant, if you're not really going to use her as a red herring, let's get her covered in something then. Maybe like some dung beetles or something.
100%.
Yeah. But I do agree with you. I think ultimately the mood, the vibe, the tone of the film is one that has a kind of mystery fairy tale vibe to it, right? Like that's kind of why I compared it to Cuckoo, because it doesn't feel entirely in sync with the world that we know.
Right.
And I feel like Jennifer Connelly's performance, in the moments where she isn't giving us a conventional reaction, she feels almost ethereal and dreamlike. Yes. And I do think it works for the film for the most part.
And I guess I feel like that's a very intentional choice on either Connelly's part or Argento's part.
Or both. Or both. They may have had conversations about like, okay, so you're a 13-year-old girl, you're out of your depth, but also you are the detective of this movie. Like, we literally say she and the fly are the two detectives when we send them out.
I think, yeah, and I think that's it too. Like, she is literally like a weird girl, and I also think that she's mature for her age because she's a Hollywood star's daughter, so she's probably around adults all the time.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is that this movie predates something like Labyrinth, but you can see the genesis of that future character in this, where it's a girl who has to go on this adventure that basically says, oh, adults can't help you. You're going to have to figure this shit out on your own. And Labyrinth is a much more verbal performance.
Yeah.
It's a very different kind of film, but I can see why she's a good fit for these kinds of roles, because you trust that even as a 13-year-old girl, she's going to be able to figure shit out and come out on top.
Well, I think also if they're kind of targeting teenage girls with this, it's like, hey, like, here's a good heroine for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Model yourself on a Jennifer type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, sidebar, this is one of the biggest bedrooms I have ever seen. Like, I recognize that this is a school for girls. So, like, maybe normally we would have 10 other girls in a single room. But, like, for 2 people to have this one room.
Well,
it is the size of my apartment.
But that's really an Argento thing, because one thing I learned watching some of this making of is that Argento really, like, because, you know, Bava is kind of the one that really came out and blew up the world with giallo films, but then Argento came in and he started adding things like architecture to it, like really bizarre architecture. And I don't think you get that as much in this film, but the interior of this bedroom is one of those where I'm like, oh, that's very striking and not realistic looking.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, whether this is an actual location, questionable. It could just be a set that we built so that we could get better coverage and so on.
I think most of the exteriors are the actual, like so the building outside is in Switzerland, but I do think the interior of the bedroom is on the soundstage in Italy.
There we go. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do get Jennifer's sad backstory as she and Sophie are bonding before we go to bed. This is such an interesting detail that we just add in, and it doesn't really amount to anything except to understand that Jennifer hasn't had an easy life. She's not super well connected to her dad, but she just casually reveals, oh yeah, no, I have a mom. She left with her lover on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's very much like the like the Phoebe Cates monologue in Gremlins, except she doesn't die, she just leaves her.
Yeah, but it's wild. It's not like it comes back and says like, oh, this is going to be your surrogate mother or some shit like that. It's just, no, she's had a bit of hardship in her life already and more to come on the horizon.
But this is also when we start getting some funny exchanges, which again, this is when my audience started kind of going nuts. And it's like, you know, Sophie's like, well, what about the killer? You know, this killer killing young girls. And Jennifer just goes like, oh, can we talk about something else? I'm going to go to bed. And just like lays down.
You know what? That's great. I just arrived here. I don't really want to deal with that. I'm going to hit the hay. Yeah, so she does. She goes to bed, and this is where we get the nightmare that she sees a girl being chased by an unseen assailant who we see assembling a spear.
This is not a nightmare, though.
No, but we think it's a nightmare with the way it's being presented. But what she's actually seeing is, it's not quite killer POV, but it's not too far off of it.
No, because we have this bit of dialogue whenever she's first dropped off where Frau Bruckner's like, oh, there's a bunch of other buildings around the school. They're very dangerous. Don't go into them. They're all forbidden. And so you're like, okay, so like clearly like that's kind of a killer thing. If you go into those buildings, you're going to get killed. And I think that's what I got from this scene.
Right.
But I don't think that's where the kid is being held, is it?
So I wrote in my notes that this girl runs into a church. And this is where ultimately Jennifer will like go up a bunch of different stairs. She'll walk along a ledge, and then she comes face to face with this victim right as the girl, because it's a window, comes right through it as the spear goes through her mouth. And I was like, what is this location? Where are we? Like, how did we get from this girl's dormitory? Like, clearly this is just meant to be the top story of this building, and that's where the killer is.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, even in the full cut, this is very disorienting. And
it is.
I do like the eventual reveal of what this killer's weapon is, which is like this blade that you have to put together in 2 parts. And the song playing during this is Iron Maiden's Flash of the Blade. So, haha.
Haha. Yeah, I mean, this is good. This is very typical kind of giallo, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's slightly Eyes of Laura Mars, where we're getting to see the killer as the murder is happening and so on. And It's very exciting. And I will say it goes on for way longer than I expected. I thought it was going to be, she walks up, she sees the kill, and then she either wakes up or she realizes, I've been sleepwalking. But no, it's like, that body is right in front of me. And then she starts walking back along this ledge. The ledge breaks. She has to nearly fall to her death.
The shot when she falls, and it's actually a really good long shot where you just see, I'm assuming a stunt double, step off of this ledge, and then the cutting is actually really good here, where you see her robe snatch it up, because we do like to put this actress in the shortest nighty gear.
Yeah, it's not quite booty shorts, but it's not too far off. Although, interestingly enough, I wouldn't suggest that we're sexualizing Jennifer.
No.
If anything, my recurring note that I wrote throughout the film is, oh, wow, Jennifer is so obviously coded as a virginal final girl that she can only wear white in this movie.
I think because she's wearing these like little booty short pajama things, but it's like she always has the robe on, and the robe almost acts as a cape of sorts.
A little bit. Maybe she's a superhero.
Maybe. Or an angel.
Or an angel, probably closer.
A saint. I mean, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, so she does end up falling off of this ledge into the bushes below, but you get the impression, the way she's reacting, that she's somewhere between asleep and awake. Like, she's reacting to things, but she doesn't seem fully cognizant of, the danger she was in or what she just saw. And we'll hear later on when she gets to McGregor's house that she doesn't remember a lot of what she saw or what she experienced when she sleepwalks. So this makes sense, but there's then this whole sequence where she walks into the road, these two guys in identical tan leather jackets take her in their convertible, there's rapey undertones.
Yeah, I couldn't actually figure out if that was the intent or not. It feels very rapey, but then it feels like they're just throwing her out of the car because she won't stop thrashing around.
Yeah, because she maybe is going to, affect their driving, but yeah, initially it seemed like, they're going to protect her because she was in the middle of the road. They didn't want her to get hit. But then when she won't settle down and just go with them to wherever they're driving, it's not like they try to figure out where she belongs. They're just like, I guess you're coming with us. And she continues flipping out. So yeah, she just ends up getting tossed or falling out of this convertible and into the woods. And this is where she hides until she is discovered by Inga.
Okay, and this is there's a shot of Inga just extending her hand out, and Jennifer's like, okay,
sure.
Just grabs the hand, and this chimp leads her off through the forest.
Truly, yeah.
This is your fairy tale.
Yes, right? If you should get lost in the woods today, a chimp will lead you home.
Maybe it's some kind of weird Snow White.
A little bit, yeah, because I definitely saw a couple of people say, thematically, this film is about a virginal fear of men and being maybe sexual for the first time. Because if you think about it, the movie goes to great lengths to say, there's virtually no men around this area, right?
Yeah.
And then who are the first people that Jennifer encounters after she sleepwalks after this murder, right? It's two guys who are kind of rapey, and then she ends up at McGregor's house. And okay, let's talk about some of this disability representation.
Wait. But first, what did you think of the ladybug insect vision?
It's interesting.
I didn't think it was necessary, but I was kind of it's not even a kaleidoscope image. It's just 6 circles of the same image. And I was like, okay.
It's a choice. Yeah.
But okay, so disability.
Yeah, okay. So as we mentioned, Dr. McGregor is in a wheelchair, and we get to see parts of his house. He does have a stair assist that he used to go up and down. So I actually kind of liked all of this.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say I'm actually curious as to what the issue is, because I'm not saying there's not one. I don't know what the issue is.
Well, you contrast that by a differently abled monster child is the actual villain of this film.
Oh, okay. I thought there was an actual problem with McGregor's portrayal. Okay, that makes more sense.
I don't think so. I think for me, the weirdest part about all of his scenes is so he clearly lives in a 2-story home with Inga, and we learn from that opening scene that Inga will do various things. He can use a laser pointer to kind of direct her as to what he wants, but she also seems to be very aware of his needs anyway. It's kind of fun. It's a little unusual, but it's mostly fun. But there's this moment, where, okay, so Jennifer comes in, we do our intros, we discover that she has a kind of strange connection to insects that he's curious about. This all makes perfect sense.
Oh.
But she's still in her nightie, as you mentioned. So he says, well, I used to have a daughter, Greta, and her clothes are still upstairs. So
wait, it's not his daughter, though, is it? I thought it was just some girl at the school who occasionally came over and stayed with him because she liked insects, too.
Oh, I thought it was his daughter.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Wait,
I could be wrong. I could have misheard. As I said, the dialogue was sometimes a mystery for me.
Okay, I'm just her name's not mentioned on the Wikipedia, actually, so I can't tell. But
in any case, he had a relationship. But, I mean, part of me is like, well, if she wasn't his daughter, why did she leave a bunch of clothes in his apartment? Because that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are clothes for a girl a little bit older than Jennifer, so he asks Inga to take her upstairs. So we ride the stair assist, and we don't go upstairs with them. So we stick with Dr. McGregor as he is just down there. And I was like, did we not have a second floor that we were shooting on for this? Because we just hear her trying on things and then she comes back down. I was like, this is so peculiar. Why did we not get to see the second floor of this house?
Also, why is McGregor disabled? I think I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like they knew that the death scene was going to involve this stair lift.
It definitely feels like it was reverse engineered, which could be, okay, so you kill a disabled person using their disability against them, which isn't super cool, but also part of me goes, well, it's 1985 and we really fuck shit up a lot like that.
But him being disabled doesn't play a huge part in his story. Like, I mean, unless it's meant to be kind of like, oh, he's disabled, and I guess her telepathy is also kind of a disability if we're viewing it that way. So like, it strengthens their bond. Like they have a common factor, but.
Oh my God, are you saying that this is X-Men Italian style?
Maybe, kind of, but I think that even might be a stretch, because we'll learn that he came here and he got in a car accident that he couldn't move again, but it doesn't really inform a lot about his character outside of the fact that he's kind of a hermit.
Yeah, he basically just stays inside, and it seems like he doesn't have a ton of strong human connections. I mean, I read this as, he's a very nice older man who is maybe hurting for company. I don't get predatory sexual vibes or anything from this. It's not like he says, hey, you look cold. Why don't you come sit on my lap and warm up for a little bit? Like, there's nothing untowards about the relationship, except for the fact that she's a 13-year-old girl who ran away from a murder scene and is now at your house. Like, maybe let's call the police. Maybe let's call a parent figure.
So, two things. I agree with you. I don't think there's anything like weird or predatory about this. And I actually think that the dialogue scenes between Pleasence and Connelly are some of the
very nice.
I really, really like. I would have taken more of them, to the point where
truly,
when you said earlier, like, I'm not going to say he dies too early. I'm kind of like, I think he does though, because I actually really do. Like, I love their scenes together.
And I think Pleasence is honestly really good in this movie. Like, I don't think he's given a ton to do, but when he is on screen, I find him highly compelling.
He's understated. But
yeah,
here's the thing, though. I'm saying all of this, and the next interaction we get between them. So he's investigating this bug, and it sprays essentially bug semen on his glasses.
Oh, I don't like that. No, where he's like, oh, you excite the bug. It's sexually excitable from you.
The exact line is, you're exciting him, and he's doing his best to excite you. And again, my audience went nuts.
Well, and this is basically after the insect ejaculates on his glasses, and he goes, ugh, it happens every time.
But it doesn't do it to her. It's just doing a mating call, even though it's not mating season. I find all this very interesting, but like it is just weird.
It's a little bizarre. Yeah. If anything, it kind of reinforces to me that McGregor is a bit of a kook, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just unusual. He's out here doing his own thing. But obviously he has a lot of information that could be valuable to both the police, but also Jennifer. Yeah. Okay, so she has gotten dressed in slightly baggy, but, more appropriate clothes. And then, we talk a little bit about the relationship that she has to bugs, and he's intrigued. And basically he says, I'd love if you would come back and see me sometime. Also, let me mention this thing called the fawn, which of course is a weather phenomenon where the wind comes over the Alps and it drives people mad.
Yeah, it sounded like the equivalent of like the Santa Ana winds in California.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of really it. Like, I guess it's supposed to explain why a certain woman is crazy at the end of this film. I don't I don't know.
Maybe. This feels like one of those, we're going to introduce it, and if you want to see this as an explanation for why certain people behave the way they do, you can definitely read into that. Or you could say it's a giallo movie, and we just introduce something because it's
cool.
There. Yeah. But I did want to, I think we both looked this up. This is a real phenomenon that does happen in the Alps. So I found the website of the Federal Office of Meteorology and Climatology, Meteo Suisse, and they basically say that there's two different kinds of fawns. They can be northernly or southerly, depends on like which side of the mountains the wind comes down onto, but it kind of produces like almost like a Chinook, which you would see out west in Canada. That means nothing to you, but Canadian listeners. But yeah, it's just like a strong, warm wind that lasts for a couple of days. But this idea is that the sudden change in weather will affect people's moods.
Okay. Yeah. It's in an extreme way in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. So when we saw, what's her face, the girl at the top of the film, when she misses the bus and the weather changes suddenly, that's meant to be the fawn.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Strong winds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, yes, we send Jennifer back to the boarding school, and the headmistress is very upset with her. We have doctors on site, so we're going to run a couple of EEG tests just to make sure that she doesn't have schizophrenia, Trace.
Yeah.
This seems like a big leap to sleepwalking to, oh my god, you maybe have a second personality.
Oh, I know. And when they say that, but I guess it's back in the time, because schizophrenia isn't exactly a split personality. That's very much dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah, I was like, we're talking about DID, non-schizophrenia, and we're just conflating terms, but also, 1985.
But either way, I mean, and this is a scene that's heavily cut down in the Creepers cut. Like, there's barely any of this scene left. It's like, oh, EEG, cool, leave.
I'm not entirely surprised because ultimately I don't think we get a ton of payoff out of this, except for the fact that Jennifer suggests she's been tested for sleepwalking cures or like understanding what drives it before.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't think it matters whether this is a new thing for her or she's had it before. Apart from the fact that she doesn't seem too thrown by it.
It's mostly because after she sicks the flies on the windows at the girls that bully her, like the school isn't really part of the film after that part. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, we've run away from the academy. We're not coming back.
Yeah. And maybe that was an intentional way of being like of trying to stay away from Suspiria comparisons.
Maybe. Yeah. All this to say, the headmistress is very unsupportive. She more or less suggests that, she starts with schizophrenia, moves to epilepsy, and then ends by saying, are you sure that you don't do drugs? It's just like, ma'am, this is your throwing everything at the wall and trying to figure out what sticks. Because, like, you could just say, oh, the girl has sleepwalking and maybe she needs to be monitored when she goes to sleep.
It was also like a one-time incident, and it's also kind of like, wait. Hey, how did they know this? Did they find the body of the girl? Because they didn't.
No. Yeah. There's never any bodies to be found.
So it's just like, oh, you heard that she was sleepwalking, and that's a big problem.
Yeah. I think in part, this is me maybe doing like a 1 + 1 = 4, but I think it's because Jennifer's father is a big star and we don't want to get in trouble. So it's like we need to be seen as responsive or addressing the problem. Because like night 1, she wanders off and then probably mentions that she saw something dangerous, deadly.
Or maybe they're really mad about the structural damage from that part of the roof that collapsed.
Who's going to pay for that?
Yeah.
For that ledge? You know what? That wing is now called the Paul Sorvino wing, and we need $1 million check.
Paul Sorvino?
Yes.
Corvino, but yes.
Okay, so Jennifer decides she's going to call her father's agent, Morris Shapiro, who is played eventually by Mario Donatone. But she can't reach him because he is out of the office because it's Passover. So, Trace, this is an Easter horror movie.
Okay, but I was also thinking, like, okay, I guess, like, is there supposed to be because Jennifer doesn't, she's like, Passover? Like, what? What's that? And
Oh, really? Okay, I thought that it was she's lost track of time. Like, she doesn't really have a good connection or a tether to what day it is.
Oh, okay. I totally read that as this is a Christian girl, and she's like she's talking to a big, powerful, like Jewish lawyer in Hollywood.
Entirely possible as well. Yeah. we're still in 1 + 1 = 4 because the movie just doesn't give us a bunch of answers. It's like, oh, this is an interesting little kernel. Make of it what you will.
Because what's happening is all the girls that we've never met before are like making fun of her outside this phone booth for no fucking reason.
Oh, these are bitches. Like, this academy should be renamed the Bitch Academy.
Yeah, again, to the point where I was like, I really do want the movie where like this is the focus of the plot.
Right? Yeah. Like, it's basically Mean Girls at the Switzerland Academy.
Also, it's like the whole thing is, it's a killer of girls. He keeps killing girls at this academy in this area. So I was expecting a much higher body count of these girls.
Right. Yeah. But the movie just says, oh, we're not interested in that at all.
Not at all.
Okay. So we do get one and only classroom scene as Jennifer and Sophie agree to help each other. So Sophie gets called on during poetry class, and Jennifer is obviously very smart. So she manages to help her, and in return, Sophie will watch over her when she sleeps tonight. And we all know that's not going to go well because, of course, Sophie has a boyfriend who's about to go into military service the next day, so she needs to run off and make smoochies with him.
Yes. This is all fine. I was really thrown because he's like, oh, what does Jennifer Corvino look like? And she's like, well, she wears her hair like mine. And I was like, no, she doesn't.
No.
But I didn't realize. So Sophie gets killed because the killer mistakes her for Jennifer.
Oh, did not get that.
Because remember, she accidentally grabs Jennifer's jacket. And so she's wearing Jennifer's jacket, and she makes a point to say, oh, she wears her hair like mine. So my hair is like hers, and I'm wearing her jacket. That's why she gets killed.
And what's interesting is that the jacket isn't even Jennifer's. This is the jacket that she took from McGregor's house. So this is actually Greta's jacket.
Exactly. But Bruckner would have seen her wearing this jacket, I think, during the EEG scene, I think.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, why is Jennifer a target? Oh,
I think just because she saw something.
Yeah,
right?
she saw something. You're right.
But of course, she doesn't remember it because she doesn't remember what she sees when she sleepwalks.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We figured it all out. This whole movie makes sense now.
Yeah, sure it does.
Okay, yeah. So Sophie gets killed after she gets briefly speared. And of course, Jennifer is also experiencing this because she has gone to bed and she is nightmaring about it. But I do like this moment where she basically finds herself outside and she sees a firefly. And she cups the firefly and follows it. Like, it basically instructs her to where Sophie's body is hiding. But it's also so slow.
Okay, so actually, to go back to your fairy tale thing, I wrote in my notes, this is very much like Sleeping Beauty with Aurora following Maleficent's glow to the spinning wheel.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because also, like, insect friends, how fucking Disney is that, right?
Yeah. It's a Disney giallo film.
Okay, so we do find Sophie's body, but of course Jennifer doesn't fully know what she's seeing, but she does manage to grab this glove from the crime scene. And then we get this voiceover of a letter she has written to her father, starting to explain what's going on, but also suspecting that she is losing her goddamn mind. So she should not be writing, I think I have a second personality that's starting to come out.
I'm sorry, I cannot believe we didn't mention this at the very, 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 very top. But when she first goes to the school, there is a voiceover from someone who's just like, and then Jennifer
like a
came
random
to the
man.
school. Yeah, and there's no other voiceover in the film. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, so there's two voiceovers in this entire movie. This is the second one.
But this one
at least makes sense. The other one is, again, so fucking Suspiria. I was just like, we need to not do this, please.
Jennifer came to the Robert Wagner School for Girls and blah, blah, blah. I was like, who are you?
Yeah, it's wild. Wild. Okay, so she is taking this, it's a cable car, to McGregor's house so that she can fill him in on the latest developments, as she is also voice-overing this letter to her father. But when she gets to McGregor's, we look at the glove and we see that there are maggots or larvae in it. And I really like the way that this moment is shot. So Jennifer is obviously very upset because we realize Sophie is missing. She's probably dead. And all of the bugs in McGregor's office are freaking the fuck out. And we realize that it's because Jennifer is frightened and therefore the bugs are agitated.
I would have taken more bug stuff in this movie. I get that we can't do a ton with them because they're just insects and they're unwieldy, but like all this stuff with like how they react to her, how they
neat.
They clearly care about her. I really liked it.
Right? Yeah. I would almost say would love to see a contemporary remake of this.
I think the same thing.
Except for
CGI.
These would look fucking terrible as CGI.
Yeah, they would.
Like, we've seen Jurassic World movies with locusts and other things, and, like, they look awful.
Yeah.
And you can tell that all of these insects are real in this movie, and it works so well as a result.
There's one effect that's not, and I will tell you about it when we get to it.
Is it the flies?
Mm-hmm.
On the dormitory window?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Which is fine. I still think it mostly looks good, but the fact that we could tell.
Yeah, but, well, I'll just tell you right now. It's coffee grounds and water.
Oh,
that's superimposed over the image. Yeah, it's like really. They show you how they do it, and I was like, that looks really fucking cool.
Yeah, good on them. I love the movie magic, man.
I know, right?
Okay, yeah. So basically, McGregor reassures her, "You got this connection. Like, you have a kind of telepathy with bugs." And Jennifer goes, "Am I even normal?" And he's kind of like, "I don't know, man. You got a gift. I think don't worry so much about it."
Yeah. He's her mentor figure.
Basically, yeah. He's the only adult who actually treats her with any kind of respect in this film, so that's not a bad thing either. Okay, so she goes back to school, and this is the moment we were talking about earlier, where she basically comes back and finds the headmistress and a couple of girls fully reading the letters she has written to her father. Like, we found your diary, and we're reading them aloud, and it's like, isn't that woman in charge of the academy? What the fuck are we doing right now?
I was really confused as to how they got this letter in the first place, though, because she was writing that letter on her way to McGregor's house, and she hasn't been back. She just got back to the school. So how do they have this letter?
I took it that she has written a couple of different letters to her father along the way. Well, I wonder if they were just like, well, we were snooping through your shit and we saw that there was this letter, so we read it.
Yeah.
It's a stretch, but I think we just kind of have to go with it.
We have to go with it. But either way, they're all just like, oh my God, she's so weird.
Super weird. And then let's surround her so that we can have Dario Argento flip the fuck out with this camera work where we're doing 360-degree spins as they're tormenting her and like mocking her.
But again, she at least does go in to say, that's my letter. And so like she doesn't hide. She doesn't try to be weak about it. She's like, nope, stop talking about me. This is mine. But yeah, like they're running up going bzz, bzz, bzz. They're spraying fire extinguishers at her to be like it's bug spray. Like it is
over the top. Like all we need to do is throw a couple of tampons in here and we've got Italian Gary.
Okay, no, 100. I guess I really wanted to carry in for some of these girls. And so
sure. Yeah.
We get this scene, which is very dreamlike and surreal again.
Oh my God. The change in lighting. So basically the sound drops out and it looks like we put a spotlight on Jennifer Connelly as she just completely goes calm.
And a fan. Don't forget the fan.
Oh, the fan. Well, of course, yes. Gotta get that hair all blowing. But yeah, she just calls down this swarm of flies. And it's not like we shatter the windows and have the flies go everywhere or anything, but it's still an incredible moment. And everyone is so unnerved. It's just like, ugh.
I love all of this. And she keeps saying, again, like in a very hazy tone, like, I love you. I love all of you. And you know, she passed out because it's probably like used all of her power and whatever. But
yeah.
And I love this, but then we never do anything with this plot again.
I think most people would push back against that and say, well, this is anticipating what she does to the kid in the boat at the end.
I just mean with the girls in the school.
Oh, with the girls. No, yeah, this is the end.
Yeah.
We are leaving the academy after this because we're done so.
Well, right after this, we do have the headmistress saying that, oh, look, the devil is Beelzebub, a.k.a. the Lord of the Flies. And so Jennifer is the diabolical. I love this word diabolical that keeps coming up in our episodes. Lady of the Flies, which honestly would have been a good name for this movie.
Maybe less sellable, but yes.
No, for sure, yeah.
But yeah, basically we dope Jennifer up and we're going to transport her to the psychiatric institute because this headmistress doesn't want anything more to do with her. And this is where we really see Jennifer start to act in her own interest. So like she has snuck off to see Dr. McGregor for information and insight and so on. But this is like, oh, they're going to put me in a hospital? I'm sneaking out the fucking window.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, I did think it was funny that this movie has a weird recurring visual joke, like a motif, where people try to sneak out without alerting somebody who is sleeping in the same room, and they make a huge amount of noise.
Yeah. Oh.
Because Sophie did the exact same thing.
No, I know. And I did write in my notes, like, Jennifer makes every noise imaginable while trying to get out of this room. And
truly. And this bitch, like, who is supposed to be guarding her does not even blink.
Yeah, it is wild. Which, I don't know, maybe that's also like a Disney thing with like sneaking out, or a kids movie thing.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so we go back to McGregor's house because he's the only person who will listen to her, maybe the only person who can help her. And he's like, hey, I made a breakthrough. These maggots, these larvae that you found in the gloves, they are going to turn into flies that are called the Great Sarcophagus. And they are going to have a connection to where they came from, i.e., the bodies, because the killer takes the bodies. And then, of course, we know bugs and insects and stuff will eat or procreate and stuff in them. So we can use this fly and your abilities to track back to where the bodies are.
Yeah, because this is actually a real fly, and it can pick up the scent of a dead body over vast differences. So it's not even like necessarily where it came from. It's just, if there's a dead body nearby, it's gonna know.
Yeah. And of course, she has this connection to it. So basically, we set Jennifer up with this fly in a glass box and say, okay, we know that the killer's route is within this 52-kilometer bus radius. So, like, basically start where the bus picks you up in the tourist area, because that's where most of the girls disappear from. Mm-hmm. Ride the bus when the fly gets agitated. That's where the bodies are.
Exactly. And of course,
I love this.
Oh, I do too. I was like, okay, fuck yeah, movie, let's go.
Like, it's wild. We're watching a teenage girl with a fly in a box ride a bus for about 3 to 4 minutes, and I was glued to my TV.
I just wanted to see where this was going to go. And of course, where she gets out is the exact spot where Vera got out, or missed the bus in the cold open.
Yes. But I do love that even in this moment, like, part of the reason it's so exciting is because you know that the fly is going to get agitated at some point, and that's going to be our cue. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to see it happen. But also, this bus is filled with red fucking herrings. We've got this bitchy old lady who wants her to close the window, and Jennifer just goes, no. And the woman's like, oh, you're so rude. But then we've got this person wearing a hat who's seated at the front that we keep looking at, and there's a car that seems to be trailing the bus.
Yes.
And you're just like, are any of these people the killer? And the answer is no.
No. Every time it cut to the person in the front with the hat and the trench coat, like, my audience giggled a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that person or the old white lady, they're nobody, but the car following her is the cop Geiger, right?
I think so, because if not, how the fuck did he find this house?
Well, because I think also Geiger's only purpose in this film is to provide the backstory for Bruckner later.
Yes, but indeed.
I'm actually really glad, though, he's not a much bigger presence in this film, because I don't think we need a cop intervening with Jennifer's story.
No, I think we use him judiciously. Like, he does what he needs to do, but he's not taking focus away from her.
Yeah.
Sidebar, I had a really good laugh when she gets off the bus because the fly has done its thing, and we see the old lady take her seat and immediately close the window as the bus drives by. I was like, that is a sublime touch.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It's really good.
Yeah. Okay, so Jennifer ends up in a very familiar-looking abandoned house. We have this thing where she's investigating the closet. She nearly falls. She makes a hole in the floor, and then she's kind of confronted by this groundskeeper man who accuses her of stealing, so she runs away.
But not before saying, the people moved out 8 months ago. No one's been here since the last tenant moved out 8 months ago. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Keep that in mind. But then, Trace, we go into fly-o-vision.
Yeah,
so
we do.
We become the fly as it goes down under the floorboards, and we see that there is a hand that is rotting away.
Yeah. So, yeah, she doesn't just she just dismembers these bodies, too.
Yeah. Okay, so this is when we have Detective Geiger show up, and he questions this man, and this is such a bizarre transition. So he basically, to prove that he's a police officer or an inspector, he points his badge at this man, but that means he puts the badge right up to the camera, and that's how we cut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I guess. Interesting.
It's
why?
Fine. I don't know. Because it was cool.
Because it looked cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to our murder. It's time to off Dr. McGregor. We have lured Inga out into the yard with some kind of balloon in the tree, and then she can't get back inside, so we watch as she frantically tries to tear off window boards as we see that Dr. McGregor is coming down in the stair assist in his wheelchair, and it gets stuck, so he can't move, and the killer assembles their spear and jabs him.
I actually really like this. So, we get
this too.
We get the gloved hand. This is our really only instance of a black gloved hand pressing the button to stop it. But then he keeps flashing the laser pointer at the killer, and we get one really cool shot of the killer's eye highlighted in red that I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And I kept trying, every time I rewatched it, I was like, okay, can you tell it's a woman's eye? And I can't.
I don't think so.
I think it's too quick, but
yeah.
I wanted to pause it.
Yeah. And this is so exciting because we have Inga, like, she can tell that something bad is happening, and she is so desperate to get inside and help him. I honestly felt kind of emotionally.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I was devastated because it also seemed pretty obvious. Like at the beginning of the scene, McGregor's going to get it. But this chimp emotes so well when Inga climbs up and hugs him, and she's obviously very, very upset. And then she gets pissed and decides, I'm going to ride on the top of this fucking killer's car.
And again, this is something that it is ridiculous, but
yes,
I agree, though. I was emotionally invested with the revenge this monkey wanted for its owner's death. And it's kind of silly, the killer swerves the car, and eventually the chimp gets thrown off. And, but it's still like, okay, we're getting like a monkey attacking. It's like the Omen.
Yes, it's ridiculous and it shouldn't work, but because Inga has actually been established as something of a character, and P.S., if you have not seen this movie and you're just listening to us, will continue to be a character in this movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not often, but they'll show up when they need to.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so we get a couple of brief scenes that help to continue to build out some of the backstory of people. So we have Detective Geiger questioning a psychiatric doctor in a very familiar-looking basement hallway. So you're meant to visually code this to the nightmare sequences that Jennifer has been having. So, okay, our killer is connected to this hospital in some capacity. We have Inga discovering a straight razor in a trash bin, which is like, hey, did you have a chimp handling a blade on your bingo card for this movie? Because cross it off.
And is a straight razor, I know that's obviously Dressed to Kill, but is straight razor a weapon in, oh God, is it in Deep Red? Was that what Deep Red does? I can't remember.
It could be. This is a pretty conventional, like, giallo weapon of this time.
Right.
Yeah. I'm even trying to think, like, what do we use in Knife Plus Heart?
Oh, the bladed dildo.
Okay, so maybe not that one. Okay, so we also have Jennifer deciding, okay, well, the only person who actually respected, listened to me, mentored me, maybe protected me, is dead. So she pleads with Morris to send her money so she can get the fuck out of Switzerland. And we get this kind of drawn out moment where she is waiting at the bank, and this kindly man has to keep telling her, no, nothing has come through. I'm sorry. So this is when Frau Bruckner collects her. So she has come and says, you know what? I'm not going to take you back to the academy. I'll take you home with me because we need to keep you safe until we can figure out what to do with you, get you back to your father.
And buckle up, y'all, because this is when this movie enters hyperdrive.
Here we fucking go. So, yeah. So Bruckner takes her back to this palatial house. And on the drive there, we are talking a little bit about her troubled son. So she lives in this giant house with just her son. And I love this subversive kind of fuck with you jokiness that Argento puts in here, because we go around the house and it seems like it's completely empty, and then Jennifer comes across like a doll of a boy and she fucks it up by accident and it falls over and kind of breaks, and she fully thinks, oh, Bruckner is loony, so she plays along with it so as to not offend Bruckner, like, oh, I'm really sorry about your son.
Oh, I didn't read it this way at all. Okay.
Oh, do you think she's figured it out at this point?
No. So first of all, we do have to think about how all the mirrors are covered up by sheets because she doesn't want her kid to look at his face. But no, so she kicks like a toy car or something into the dummy and it gets knocked over. But she says, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." But then Bruckner's like, what she says is, "What on earth were you thinking? This is my son? It's only a doll, you stupid girl." Like, I do think Jennifer actually thought this was her kid.
Yeah, like I think that Jennifer looked at this and said, "Oh, this poor sad lady. Maybe something happened to her son, or she's so out of it that she thinks that this toy is actually a boy." So I took it to read like she was going along with it. Like, yeah, your son. Sorry about knocking him over here.
No, I thought she actually thought it was a kid that she knocked over because she's standing in the doorway. She's not right up against him. He's facing away from her. I mean, it does look like a doll when it falls, but yeah.
Anyway, all this to say, we move into the next part of the film because Bruckner says, well, we should calm you down. How about you take a couple of these pills and we'll call it a night? And Jennifer starts to get the ick factor and she doesn't want to take these pills. So we kind of fight about it a little bit. And Jennifer finally takes the pills and locks herself in the bathroom and says, fine, I will do it. Just leave me alone for a moment. I just need to use the restroom.
I love the reveal here.
Okay, but question for you, Trace. Why does she actually take one of these pills?
I don't know the answer to that question either. It acts pretty fast. Like she's like bends over in like pain because this is a poison pill that looks like an ibuprofen that she's taken. And she vomits it all up. But while all this is going on, she just sees maggots everywhere.
Yeah. The house is maybe filled with bodies that are producing maggots and we're dropping them from the ceilings and so on.
I don't know if I ever told this story on the podcast before, but I had a really bad maggot experience.
Oh, no.
I was in college and I put like the rest of a carcass of a roasted chicken that I had in the trash can. And I guess I had not taken the trash out for several days.
Oh, no.
So one day I was like, okay, I'm going to pull the trash bag out. I put the trash bag at the door and I'm going to go pull it out later. But I probably left it at the door for like 30 minutes. And
oh, no.
I take the trash out, whatever. And I come back and like I'm like sitting on the carpet. And I just have maggots crawling up my leg. And
oh, no.
Basically, maggots, like a fly had clearly laid eggs in the chicken carcass. And the maggots had gotten all over the carpet because it wasn't hardwood floor, it was carpet. And that means they weren't visible. So I would try to vacuum, and all the vacuum would do would kind of make their tails pop out of the carpet a little bit.
Oh, no.
And I was going through the carpet like with a comb to pull them out and kill them and like whatever.
God.
Joe, it was the grossest thing. Yeah, I promise I'm clean now. But like 2 weeks later, what happens? Flies everywhere.
Oh, no.
Flies and they are the most enormous flies I've ever seen in my life, all over my apartment.
Gosh.
So I pulled out at least 70 maggots out of my carpet that day, and there were still flies 2 weeks later.
Wow. You got to experience the whole life cycle. Also, you're disgusting. You filthy pig.
I know. Because it was these little baby maggots. It was the ones like you see on the glove or on the car. They weren't big maggots yet. They hadn't gone through their life cycle, but they were so tiny, and it was just the grossest thing. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
Man, know what I'm thinking of? That moment in The Sweetest Thing where we find the maggot burger in the back of Courtney's car.
It's just, I can't believe I didn't smell the chicken either. Like, you would think that would just smell really bad, but whatever.
I mean, you probably got used to it.
Maybe, honestly.
Even grosser.
I was 20, y'all. I'm sorry.
I mean, here's the thing. We've all made bad decisions, especially when it comes to things like hygiene and cleanliness. Like, we're all a little guilty of it.
But you know what? I'm never going to do it again.
There you go. Yes, you learned your lesson.
I learned my fucking lesson. And if I put something like that in the trash can, it goes in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, just it. You know what? Treat it like a condom, folks. Double wrap it. Okay, yeah. So Jennifer takes the pill, realizes it's poison, makes herself puke it up, but now she realizes, oh, I am in danger here. I did want to highlight that as Bruckner was like talking to her, trying to convince her to take the pill, she does make a mention that she is burning up from the wind.
Yeah, right? Okay, so I guess that is your kind of like callback. That is your payoff to this whole thing.
Yeah, it doesn't get bigger or better than that, though. This is the only mention.
I do love it because Jennifer walks out and she's like, what happened? What were you doing in there? Did you take the pills? What are you doing? Did you take that pill?
Look, are you going to die? I just need to know. Can you please tell me? Please.
And it's these moments, I mean, because you know at this point, okay, well, this is clearly the killer. But you're really getting to see Nicolodi just like go off here, and it's great.
Yes. And like we are getting into a yelling match. We're getting into a scuffle. We end up knocking Jennifer down, and then she tries to go for the phone. So then we've got to fully knock her out. We're locking her into the guest room. Like, and here's the thing. It starts to feel like, okay, well, this is the end of the movie because this is clearly the reveal. We know who's been killing these girls. We don't know why yet, but presumably we're going to get some kind of explanation and then the movie will end. No,
not the case.
No, we will not.
No.
We still have a long way to go.
No, it's not the end. But of course, we got to bring Geiger back into the equation because he shows up to talk to Bruckner about the sexual assault she endured 15 years ago.
Indeed, yeah. So we have Jennifer locked in this guest room, and as she tries to figure out a workaround with this godforsaken telephone in the other room, we have Bruckner being distracted by Geiger outside. So he basically says, I know that something really bad happened to you 15 years ago. There was an assault at the hospital, and she shows him the scar that she has on her chest. And this is basically... she was sexually assaulted by a patient, and it really messed her up.
Well, she says he raped her through the bars, too. So it was like he was holding her against like the jail cell bars and raped her.
Yeah. And you're kind of like, okay, so maybe this explains a little bit about why the woman isn't well. But then she just knocks Giger out. It's like, oh, okay, you're down for the count.
Do we even see her do this?
Okay, so on the Wikipedia page, it says she knocks him out. I feel like I remember him getting distracted by something and her, like, swinging something at him. But that's, like, it.
Well, she definitely swings something at Jennifer. But, yeah, I was surprised when he grabs Jennifer later in the tunnel. I was like, wait, how did you end up here, dude?
Yeah. But we're not there yet. So let's talk about Jennifer's adventures trying to get a telephone.
Oh my
I was like, how long is she going to struggle with this? Because basically, so she's in one room and she sees that there is a telephone on a stand in the other room, but she can reach through this kind of vent that you can pull down. It's like
it's above the door. Yeah. I don't know what the actual purpose of this thing is, unless it's to like help ventilate the room.
Or maybe to get into an attic. Oh, that's what it probably is, because it has a hook on it, right? Like, where the room is too tall and you use the stick.
Yeah, so that's what that is. I didn't know what the vent above the door was for. I was like, why is that? Why does that open up?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. But anyway, we spend so much time watching her try to grab this fucking phone.
Yes.
And you know how earlier Argento was like, well, I thought that the heavy metal would give certain scenes a push.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is here for. So we get Iron Maiden's Flash of the Blade again, playing over just Jennifer Connelly trying to grab a phone with a hook for minutes.
Because she fails twice. And then you think, okay, rule of three, she's got to get it this time, right? No, she fully fucking drops it. And it falls in a hole in the floor and disappears out of sight. So you're like, okay, well, I guess that's over. But no, she crawls through, which P.S. I'm like, why didn't you just do that in the first place?
That's what I said!
I mean, I guess if you can, try to get for the phone, make the call first. But literally, she goes down into this hole. And I was like, that phone's not going to work. What are we doing? This is stupid. She's fully tracing, the cord that the phone is attached to, because folks, this is an old school kind of rotary phone.
It's the longest phone cord in the world.
It's hilarious. You could have picked this up and walked this phone around the entire house and just had a conversation the whole time.
She could have taken the tram car back to McGregor's house and still had slack.
Truly. It is hilariously long. But like, she's going through this tunnel, and to which I was like, wait, this movie is doing weird ass tunnel to ? Nowhere. Like, I was getting excited because this is so weird and unexpected, right? Like, I thought the movie was nearly over and suddenly we're subterranean.
Mm-hmm.
So she finally gets to the goddamn phone. It's like it's fallen 20 feet down this fucking thing. And right as she's about to make a call, like, she picks it up to see if it'll still work. And then she's grabbed by arms that punch through the wall. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a reveal of who the killer is, or maybe it's Bruckner. And no, it's fucking Detective Giger, who has been chained to the wall like we saw somebody earlier in the film. And I think he just thought it was somebody. So he was like, I'm going to grab him. I'm going to get out of here. But he grabs her and she ends up falling out of this tunnel and into a pool of maggot body-filled water.
Yes. And now this was giving me Poltergeist. And
100%.
I have to believe that was an influence on this because you just don't do a scene like with a pool, like a dead body pool.
The timing is pretty suspicious. It's a couple years after.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. So in Argento's interview, he says, the pool was filled with pieces of human skin, swill, worms, a huge number of worms, larvae.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, I know.
Gross.
It was quite a horrific sight. At first, Jennifer Connelly refused to go into it. And,
yes.
But then one of the special effects guys in a separate interview, he's saying, we use like pieces of cork standing in for the bugs. We had to make the props for the rotting corpses and bones. And so I was like, well, which was it? Were there actual bugs in here? Or like what? And I was like, Argento, if you were actually like a much nicer director, you probably would have said, I'll get in the pool with you. But he didn't do that.
Right? Or yeah, like there's got to be some kind of workaround. It's not, hey, 13-year-old girl, get in the maggot pool.
Either way, she opens her mouth way too many times. My mouth would have been sealed shut.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not like she just plops in, realizes where she is, and then gets out. She can't get out, and she is freaking... I mean, if you were looking for a reaction from Jennifer in this film, this is it, because she is terrified and just absolutely screaming and crying.
She seems to be dunking herself up and down constantly in the water. Like
a little bit. Yeah.
But then we get this great moment. So Bruckner comes out. She like comes out of this door that's just in the room, and then she's just like laughing, maniacally laughing at Jennifer's plight.
Yeah. Like, oh, good, you fell into my maggot lake. Haha. I planned this the whole time.
We will never understand or know why she likes to keep the bodies because. She says either here or at the very end. She says at some point, I was doing all this to protect my son. I was trying to kill these girls to protect my son. And you're like, okay, the cold open makes sense. She got into the house. She heard the kid. She might have found the kid. So we're going to kill her. Mm-hmm. I don't know why she kills anyone else. Okay, well, it was Sophie because she thought she was Jennifer. But like, why did she kill the girl from that Jennifer saw when she was sleepwalking? Why did she kill Greta? Like, we don't know why she killed these people.
Okay, so I hope this doesn't sound dismissive.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't do the murders.
You think the kid did?
Yes.
No.
Because he's the one who's chained up to the wall.
Yeah, he's chained up in the wall. He's not killing people. He's chained up.
No, but he pulls out the chains in that very first set piece.
Okay, but isn't she the one that kills,
Who do we see operating the spear when Jennifer tries to get away on the boat?
Well, okay, yeah, he does, but I literally, all 3 times I watched this, I just assumed Bruckner was the killer of everyone.
Okay, sorry, I'm walking it back. It's possible that she is the one who killed McGregor because she could get to his house.
Well, she's also tall. We see her figure being tall.
But no, I default assumed that it's the kid committing the other murders. And here's the thing, and I don't know if this is a chicken egg situation, if I read it and then I watched the movie and then agreed with it, or if I actually came to this understanding myself. But I think that the age is very specific, right? Like, she was sexually assaulted and had this boy 15 years ago, and all of the victims are young teenage girls. So I think that this is like a psychosexual thing where the boy gets crushes on these girls and then we murder or maybe bring the girls to him so that he can fuck them. Because McGregor said the killer is necrophilic.
Okay. Wow, I am like recontextualizing so much of this in my mind now where I'm like, okay, I'm not even shutting it down. I actually kind of like that if that's the case.
I mean, it's far grosser. Yeah, like, folks, I would love to hear from you. Do you think that Bruckner is the one who's killing these people? Maybe she's killing them, bringing the bodies to the son, and then the son is like fucking around with them, maybe eating them, whatever, and then we're storing the bodies all around the house and in this pool.
That is so wild.
It's very twisted.
Okay. So let's continue though. So we're in this pool, and Bruckner's trying to like step on her hands. Jennifer eventually, because Giger, he bashes his thumb to get out of the handcuffs, and
he dangerous animals his hands so that he can get out of these.
He subdues Bruckner, and then Jennifer, she climbs out of this pool, and granted, there is like a spray, like a pipe of water spraying on her.
It cleans her completely.
Completely. I wrote,
I loved it.
why are her clothes completely white still? But maybe that's meant to be, oh yeah, she's like this virginal, like pure thing.
Yeah, she's still pure. She cannot be denied. She will persevere. She will come out of this okay. Yeah, no, that moment where, the pipe of clean water just cleanses her. It feels like a fucking baptism. It's wild. But all this to say, okay, so you think that Bruckner has been kind of taken care of because Giger has beaten the shit out of her, seems to be strangling her to death. Jennifer has gotten out of this pool, fully cleansed, so she goes looking for an escape or an exit or something, and she happens upon this boy. So she opens this door, sees him Blair Witching in the corner. He says, you know what? You don't have to be scared anymore. We're going to take the cloth off of the mirror. And then, Trace, this is where we basically get the child equivalent of the fun house.
Okay, no, so here's the thing. You know how, like, the American slasher film is kind of, like, really indebted to the Italian giallo film? Because the Italian giallo is really the original slasher.
Yeah.
I thought this was Argento doing Friday the 13th.
Okay, I mean, I 100% agree with you because of all the shit that happens on the lake.
Yes, but also it's a mother protecting her deformed child.
Yeah. So we should note that this is Patou Bruckner, who is played by David Marotta.
Okay, but what is the disorder Patou has?
I missed it. What does he have?
It's Patou syndrome.
Oh my God, come on.
I'm not even kidding. Patou syndrome is a syndrome caused by a chromosomal abnormality in which some or all of the cells of the body contain an extra genetic material from chromosome 13. And it basically like makes, their face kind of like fold in almost like this.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that this is the bad disability representation in the film because it's very much... She thinks that she's saving this boy who has been imprisoned by his psychotic mother and, don't worry, it doesn't matter what she's done to you. And then this kid turns around and the face is a little bit scary. It's not conventional. And we treat this thing like it is a goddamn monster. Yeah.
Well, in the context of this film, that is definitely what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and whether you want to have like a nature versus nurture debate about, okay, well, did Bruckner raise this child of sexual assault to be the monster when it came out slightly deformed? Mm-hmm. Who knows? The movie doesn't want to interrogate that kind of stuff, but it's very much like, oh my God, does not have regular face equals monster equals is going to try to kill Jennifer.
I guess, too. I mean, maybe it's a bit of Don't Look Now?
No.
I was just thinking of a killer dwarf.
Is that what this kid is?
I mean, well, he's played by a dwarf because he's meant to be a 15-year-old kid. Sorry, okay. The height issue is not a thing of Patou syndrome.
Okay.
So this is very much meant to be also a little person.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know. It's not good on top of not good on top of not good. Like, here's the thing. It's not like I turned against this movie when this happens. I was just more, that's not great. I mean, everything that happens is very fun because we get, an exciting chase sequence. Jennifer ultimately ends up fleeing to a boat and she gets attacked by this boy who tries to spear her, but he instead, punctures the gas tank. And when she tries to start the motor, we explode this whole boat. Like, it's all very fun, exciting stuff, but I was just like, ooh, no, I did not like that twist reveal.
I am still going back to this idea where I'm like, oh my God, like, did I completely miss that this kid is the killer?
You know what? I think I'm walking it back that she is the killer, but she is doing it to bring the girls to him.
I think you
whether
might be,
alive or dead.
I think you might be right. I think maybe because she.
But this kid is like real good with a spear. That's all I'm saying.
I think it might be a Scream situation where it's like they're both the killer, and we're playing the game of who killed what and when.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who's taller in which scene?
This is bizarre. I agree. Whatever. Not okay from a disability standpoint, but I will tell you right now. When I first saw this, I lost my shit.
It's a big old dose of what the fuck.
I lost my shit, Joe. I was like, what the? As if we didn't have too many elements to this film. Mm-hmm. We're now adding this kid to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's all action set piece from this point on, right? So, tries to spear her, misses. She explodes the boat. Because we have been leaking gasoline from the speared tank, that means that when the boat goes up, we also coat most of the lake with flammable material. So she's under the water, and we just get these gorgeous shots of her swimming with the surface on fire.
Yes, the only thing I didn't like about this, though, is it was very, very, very clear that the underwater shots were done in a pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But,
no surprises there.
But I agree. And yeah, of course, when I was like, oh, it's Friday the 13th, I was like, oh my God, it's fucking Friday the 13th with fire on a lake. But yeah, this is just fantastic. And she sends a swarm of flies after this kid, and
yes, this is actually before the boat explodes. That's how she gets enough time to kind of like get away. But like he's about to attack her, and she summons the flies, much like she did at the academy. And it's not just like, oh, they cover him and he's distracted. It's they eat his fucking face.
Yeah. Like it's you don't actually like you get like one shot. Most of the shots you get of this are underwater when he's already decomposing because she's swimming away, and what does Patel do? But he grabs her leg.
Oh my God, yeah. And if you weren't thinking Friday the 13th, it's virtually impossible not to think it in these underwater moments. Because yeah, it's a disabled child who looks like a monster, quote unquote, grabbing this able-bodied girl who has been through a hellaciously traumatic event. You're like, check.
Yeah, I think, again, like the disability thing is made worse by the fact, because I think they even said, like, they were looking through medical books, and they said, we saw this thing for Patel syndrome, and we're like, oh, that would make a good, like, look for this villain. And I was like, okay, well, that's maybe not the best way. But again, 1985.
Yeah.
But either way, you think it's over again.
Yeah, because basically what happened is she manages to escape from this area that is on fire, so she's safe to be up above the surface, but the boy surfaces and just gets engulfed in flames. So yeah, you think, okay, the monster has been put down. We are safe to return to shore. And of course, we have gotten a brief cutaway a while back where we saw Morris in the airport running through, getting into a car. So, you know, when Jennifer comes up onto the shore and we see Morris get out of the car, and you think, okay, here we go. Let's get some kind of happy ending for this poor girl. And no, we just decapitate this guy.
I mean, because I can't remember, but I want to say like a music swell happens as they're running towards each other. Like you're like, oh, it's going to be this big embrace. They're going to meet each other.
Yeah. No.
And then his head just goes flying.
Yeah, it's so abrupt. There is nothing to it. Like, you don't even realize that Bruckner is there until his head goes off.
But I love this, too. She's taunting Jennifer. She's like, why don't you call your insects? Go on, call. And it's like, did you not see what she just did to your son? Like, she can definitely do that.
True. But I think you're right in suggesting that she has a kind of finite capacity because she's only 13 years old, or maybe she hasn't practiced at Xavier School for the Gifted long enough. But yeah, like in this moment, she does not have the capacity to call any of her insect friends to help her. So Trace, she isn't able to help herself, but someone comes to her rescue.
Oh my God. In case you forgot, there was a chimpanzee in this movie.
Which I will admit at this point, I had kind of forgotten.
Well, because you're still on the mutant kid.
Yeah, so Inga and her straight razor show up. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of fucking brutal.
It is, and this is obviously heavily cut in the Creepers version, but like we get so many shots of this straight razor going up and down Nicolodi's face, and it is, I mean, it's brutal in the sense that you're seeing it slice her face, but like it's not actually making wounds like in the shot because it's like whatever. But like, I mean, we are just cutting this woman's face up.
Yeah, like if you're able to imagine what it feels like to be sliced and diced, this woman's face is getting all kinds of hacked up by an angry, vengeful chimp. And then she's just dead. Like, down for the count. And then we have Fairy Tale Princess Girl hug her rescue chimp, who is like, okay, I guess everything's going to be all right. Go to credits.
And then
the movie is done.
And you're like, wait, are you sure? Are you over? Okay.
Are you sure you don't want to give me anything else? Like, maybe you want to throw in a unicorn or something?
This was such an experience. I really enjoyed this. It is absolute batshit insanity.
Yes.
I mean, this is great. This phenomenon is great, y'all. Watch it.
It was so unexpectedly fun. Like, I anticipated that I was going to have a good time because Argento knows how to fuck with you, but this was not what I was expecting. And yeah, just utterly delightful. I wanted something wild, and I fucking got it.
I really, truly wonder if this is the wildest of his films. So actually, everyone out there, if there's another film of Argento's that's decent-ish, at least decent. Don't be sending me no Dracula 3D bullshit. But
God, no.
That is this batshit insane. And again, can't be Mother of Tears. I've already seen it. But I really want to know, like, where do I start?
Right. Yeah. And of course, folks obviously do not recommend Tenebrae because we have covered it. But if you have any other suggestions, please more so Trace, but let us know.
Let us know what we should cover on the podcast, actually. Like, what's one that we really need to cover, knowing that we loved this one. But yeah. All right, everyone. Well, before we announce what we're covering next week, some quick housekeeping. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on Blue Sky and Instagram at HorrorQueers. Shoot us an email at horrorqueers@gmail.com. Find us on Letterboxd to keep track of all the films we've covered. If you want to chat with other listeners, please join our HorrorQueers Discord. The link is in the show notes. If you have a moment, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you want more content, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/horrorqueers. If you subscribe today, you'll get 402.5 hours of Patreon content, including this month's new episodes on Squid Game Season 3, Dangerous Animals, Megan 2.0, I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025, and a brand new audio commentary on Species for its 30th anniversary.
Yes.
But Joe, what are we covering? Oh God, what are we covering next week?
All right. Well, we spent 4 films in a 10-year span, and it's time to leave behind the mid-70s to mid-80s. But Trace, we're only jumping ahead to the early aughts. We're going to stick with an international vibe. Oh boy. And it's time to revisit Park Chan-wook. So we're going to talk about the second entry in his Vengeance trilogy with Old Boy.
Old Boy. Oh man, I love this entire trilogy. I do think Old Boy is the best, but we'll talk about it. I love Old Boy so much.
Yes, it's a long film. It's a complicated movie. Folks, I am going to say there's a content warning for some animal abuse, but I'm not going to elaborate. It's just one of those movies where if you have not seen it, I strongly encourage you to watch it before you listen to next week's episode.
Yeah, I strongly encourage you, if you've somehow avoided spoilers for this film over the past 22 years, go in blind.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe I'll watch the remake. I've never seen it, and I've always been curious.
I saw it in theaters. I will say, I thought they were going to tone it down. They don't. So okay. I think it's fine. It's very much kind of why did you want to remake this type thing? Like, it's not
one of those.
It's not that much different, but for that reason alone, I kind of also like it because it's not that much different.
Wow, that's fucking Spike Lee.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's Spike Lee. And it's Elizabeth Olsen, Josh Brolin. At the very least, it's an interesting watch. But it doesn't hold a candle to the original film.
Got it. All right. Well, folks, that's where we're headed.
Yep. But until then, we can cross out Phenomena.
Indeed. And cross out creepers? No. Cross out horror queers.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Road trips are all about the sights, the sounds, and the snacks. So pack the ultimate road trip fuel, Blue Diamond Almonds. This summer, they're your chance to win a new car. Buy any 12-ounce or larger bag, enter the code at bdroadtrip.com, and you could score thousands of prizes, including a new set of wheels. Hit the road with Blue Diamond. No purchase necessary. End September 15th. Open to 50 U.S. and D.C., 18 years or older. For rules, including free entry method, visit bdroadtrip.com. Void where prohibited. Grand prize awarded as $50,000 cash via PayPal. This promotion is in no way sponsored, endorsed, administered by, or associated with PayPal Inc.
The McDonald's snack wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch snack wrap. Spicy snack wrap. You broke the internet. For a snack. Snack wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.